We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I got to ask you guys a question because I was looking for it this morning. Because I shouldn't say last night, but yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, I check on the headlines and all the rest of it. And there was a big story in the Wall Street Journal about Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel. But now this morning I can't find it because apparently Aaron Rodgers said, "Well, I didn't mean it in a bad way."
Yeah.
That's what he said. Did you guys see that article?
No, but I just have to laugh going like, so you just thought, what were you trying to convey?
Yeah.
Right.
Classic mix-up. He meant pedophile in a nice way, not the negative connotation that everybody gives it.
Yeah, that pedophile thing, you can just throw that around. I will never forget. I can't remember the British show that it was on, but there was a guy whose name was Peter File.
No.
And of course, they don't pronounce Peter that way in England, so his name was pedophile.
No, not the one. Your parents hate you.
I would have to believe that if they name you pedophile in a country where it's not pedophile there, it's pedophile, right?
Oh.
So that name locks right in.
I spent hours in the hospital saying Gogo's name, full name, the initials, writing it out, making sure I didn't miss anything big. I think naming your child Peter File would seem pretty obvious pretty quick.
Yeah. Like the moment you tell them the name and then the nurse is like, so you want your kid to be named Pedophile? And you're like, that doesn't roll off the tongue like I thought. Let's go with option number 2.
No question about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just whatever works. But yeah, this whole situation with Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel, and now Aaron Rodgers said, isn't he like 40?
Yeah, I believe he's early 40s.
Early 40s, because he said he wants to play 3 more years in the NFL.
Okay, yeah. If he's not over 40, he's like right at it.
Yeah, he just turned 40 last month.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Aaron. Your good buddy, your pal. Yeah, he's a very odd guy. Very, very unusual person. I don't know. I never talked to him, never met him. I don't know anything about him, but seems like a lot of people don't care that much for him. Kind of seems.
Yeah, he used to be fine as hell too, Tom.
Oh, really?
He used to be hot and confident. And now it's like one of those guys you would hook up with and then the next day would start telling you like theories and you realize they have crazy person eyes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I do understand that, ladies and gentlemen. I got to ask you a question because I'm not going to get into it, but I got to ask you a question. For about, 6 months to a year now or whatever the hell it is, every morning when you get up and you scroll through the news and all the rest of it, it's either Biden, Trump, or both are going to prison for the rest of their lives. We have nothing better to talk about than that, really.
I don't want to deal with this election.
And I just wish it would come. Can we vote like now and get it over with? And whoever wins, good for you.
Yeah, just put like a 1-800 or 1-888 number up on the screen. Have everybody call or text in. Yeah.
Can you imagine how many people would cheat doing that? I'll call from my cell phone. I'll call from your cell phone. I'll call from another. It's like, God.
American Idol voting.
Yeah, there's 8 billion people on the earth, but somehow we got 15 billion people to vote for the U.S. president.
Right. Well, yeah, that's about what it would be, too. About 15 billion people in a country of, 300 million?
Yeah.
Be a little difficult to do, but they could get it done, I'm sure. There's no question. All right, I have to ask you guys a question because you're all of that age. The week leading up to, let's say between Thanksgiving and Christmas, those few weeks in there, when you'd go for a walk, because I go for a 2-mile walk every morning before the show. I just love getting out and walking around. It gets everything functioning properly and all that. Mm-hmm. Before Christmas, as you walk down the street, everybody would go, "Good morning, how are you doing today?" And we just keep on walking. Now that it's the 10th of January, people will not even make eye contact with you. What happened?
I don't know. I feel like, I got to see your face when you're walking because
that's the same problem that a couple other people have. Like, Ian, what's his name, has the same problem. It does look like I'm always pissed off. I understand that.
I had such a lovely interaction. Coming in this building, I had 2 coffees and somebody went out of their way to stop and hold the doors for me coming in. And then somebody held the elevator. So like I had decent, I have low expectations and they exceeded them. So
they exceeded the low or exceeded the high?
They exceeded my low expectations.
They're even lower than you thought they'd be. Mm-hmm. That's nice to hear. That's great news. No, look, certain people, like, you know, people, I would guess to be over 55, they still say hello, but people your age do not want to make eye contact and they do not want to say good morning.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think it's extreme anxiety. That seems to be the common thread that's in 20-year-olds that I've been around.
Based on what?
What's that?
What's the anxiety based on?
Oh, just I think that's every time I talked when I was in nursing school, it was all 19, 20, 21. There was some 22-year-olds. I was oldest by 10 years at least.
Right.
And they all were so anxious. And they had like their biggest hurdles that they were going to have to deal with were dealing with patients, like looking them in the eye, talking to them, interacting, and feeling confident because they would easily be smarter than me, but I would go in a room and actually have a conversation. They're like, how did you do that?
Yeah. And
because you communicate. They want to know how you communicated.
Yeah. And I think the pandemic, I mean, didn't help. We blame the pandemic for a lot, but I think that doesn't help with, you know, people's social development when they're younger. And then as well, if it's in the morning, not everybody is a morning person. So I try to be a little bit more conscious about, you know, point. I don't want to overwhelm somebody that's just rubbed the sleep out of their eyes and they're waiting for their dog to pee.
Yeah, I suppose that I understand that point that it is. But I mean, I'm talking about, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's not like it's 4 in the morning or anything like that.
Yeah, but you are right, Tom, where there are some people where if you say hello to them, they look at you like, why are you talking to me? Like they're shocked. Like
absolutely
just love to live in their own bubble.
There was a woman, I was walking this morning, and there is one of those deals where the sidewalk's like this, and then there are a bunch of bushes over here. So you turn left quickly, and then you turn again this way, right? Well, I see this young woman coming, and so I just stopped so she could get through the little zigzag, so we're not both in a zigzag at the same time. I stopped, waiting for her. She went through the zigzag, did not even look at me, much less say thank you. Now, if somebody's going to just get out of your way, wouldn't you be just a little tiny bit grateful?
Yeah.
See,
I'm protecting you and you don't care.
Classic mistake. You got to get in her way.
Yes.
You got to make a decision at the line. Hit the hole, lady. Come on.
I guess so. Yeah. Just do the cross body block. That'd be really great, you know. But as soon as she went by me and she would not make eye contact, and I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. You're welcome." And she you can tell her shoulders got a little higher.
Or like you just yell out like, "Hey, you dropped something." So just like stop, turn around and like look, realize she didn't drop anything, and then turn back around and keep walking.
No, she dropped something. My self-respect has dropped because of that.
Let me pick this up for you. You say,
let me pick myself up. I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but it's so unusual that there's a thing right now where there's the Gen Z, there's millennials, and there's baby boomers. And in my history of being alive, which has been a few years now, I have never seen three bigger gaps, because there's not only a gap between like you guys and me, but there's a huge gap between Gen Z and you.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. But I don't know what it is. I love your generation, Tom. I mostly work with people in your generation. Love them. I love being around them. It feels like a safe space.
Except for me. Yeah, my generation, but not me.
Except for you, except I've literally worked with you most of my life.
You worked for me. I would have never hired you.
That's
Forget
true.
about it.
You and I are co-workers.
We've been co-workers for a long time. That's true.
Same position.
Exactly. I understand completely.
And like Gen Z's fun too. I feel like you just have to meet them where they're at and have low expectations. But once you talk to them one-on-one, they're hilarious. They're
not in my generation. Well, your generation that works. In mine, it does not.
Oh, like you are having trouble with the Gen Z or the millennials?
It's kind of both, but the Gen Z are coming on really strong. It's like, oh, I'd like to go for a walk, but I have to leave my house to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah. They always need a safe space. It's fine though. I love them for that. Like, let's just get everybody blankies. I'm fine with it. I don't know. I'm like, I get it. It's like funny because we raised them this way. So we kind of have to accept where they're at.
So it is your fault.
Obviously.
I thought that it was, because that skips it. We didn't raise them. You did. Your fault. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You know. Judd has joined us, ladies and gentlemen. Score North Judd Zulgad is brought to you by Bielke Law Firm. Heard at work, Dave Bielke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials, of course. Call 763-571-2410 or go to BIALKElaw.com. Tell them Tom sent you. Judd joins us. Now, I got to run one more thing by you. It's not going to take long to do it, but the one thing that's amazing is I don't know, because people send them to me, these messages, because I don't go on social media. So they send me the stuff, and it's kind of interesting because I guess it's Gen Z or whatever is very, very pissed off at me about something. I don't know what the hell I did to them, but apparently they're all upset about what Uncle Bop did. And I'm like, you have no idea about something. People are different. Not everybody's like you, a sugar tit from the far out suburbs, with rich parents. Not everybody's like you. I'm going to be different than you. And here's what drove it all. When we spent that day, I guess it must have been Monday, talking about Pat Eberts again. And I adored that man. He was a very good friend. He was my wife's not distant, but a third cousin, distant enough, I guess. Talked nothing but praise of what a great salesperson Pat was. But we also told the truth and said, Pat could be a massive pain in the ass, right? Because he could be. I loved the guy. Don't get me wrong. He was one of my best friends, but he could be a massive pain in the ass because he pushed himself and everybody else so hard. It's not a bad thing to be a pain in the ass, but apparently Gen Zers don't like to be called a pain in the ass. I wonder why that is.
Perhaps because they know they are a pain in the ass.
Oh, there's a good take on it.
You like that?
Look, we'll clear this up for you. Okay. Now you're going to have to figure it out. I like everybody on the show except for one person, and you guys will have the four of you left to meet later.
That is the most hard thing.
I'm busy today. My calendar is full, so I can't attend this meeting. So if it's me, just text me.
Yeah, we'll text.
That is the funniest thing ever. Tom Bernard's like, you guys just figure it out amongst yourselves.
Did you see what AJ did? Look up at AJ's going.
Yep. I know how to read the room, right? Don't worry.
You're reading the room, baby. There's no look. I don't dislike Gen Z people. I have relatives that are Gen Z. Saying, well, millennials. My kids are both millennials, so I adore my children. You know that. So it's not that. It's just I think we're going to run into a lot of problems if we keep separating one another. When you won't even make eye contact with people, that's going to lead to a big problem. Because what's going to happen, folks, and I'm warning everybody, women and men, mostly women in Gen Z, though, if you don't make eye contact with people and show them your strength, they're going to take advantage of you like there's no, you're going to get robbed every other day. That's where we're going to end up in about 2-3 years.
Don't you think that this whole thing, though, stems at least for that generation from the fact that people are now continually on their phones? And if you're Gen Z, you were brought up that way. Like eye contact, communications, the communication as we knew it is largely dying, if not dead, right?
Absolutely.
They text, they don't talk, I'll go to, and it's been a huge success in some ways, but like dating apps, like you used to have to go out and meet people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're in a situation right now where you just don't know what the hell's happening, when it's happening, what we're going to do about this, that, and the other thing. I mean, we all are trying to get through this together. I understand there are about 15 different wars going on around the world, which is a little uncomfortable. I do understand that. But I got to tell you that if we don't go shoulder to shoulder like we did, well, that's what we learned from the greatest generation. When you looked at what your mothers and fathers did back during World War II and all the rest of it, we had this terrific admiration for them. And then, of course, the Vietnam War came along. My brother was in the Marine Corps. Great respect for them as well. So as you look forward one generation, make sure you know what you're talking about, because baby boomers have done some amazing things, just like you guys will when you get off your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, why do you expect that? I mean, come on, Tom.
Because
Brittany's
to
right.
me, and I could be, look like a great grandpa, but I think that America could do any damn thing it wants to if the people work together. I really think this is still the greatest nation in the world. We help out everybody. We don't do things like, oh, you can't have babies anymore, so we're just going to kill them all. Oh, okay, great. That's a good decision. Russia, you want to live there? No. There are a couple of places in Europe I wouldn't mind living, but America to me is still a great place. And I hope your generation still understands that, don't they? Or do they not?
Mine? Or there.
No, you're kind of stuck in between both of us. You got a problem.
I'm from the 60s, man. Okay. I'm just a hippie.
I'm a hippie. There you go.
Yeah. I think people understand that there are definitely worse places to live than America. But right. I think where the younger generation, I mean, they're, they have it much better than, the older generation did, but they still in their minds have things that aren't as good, and they want to improve upon those things, which I think is great, because if you are complacent, you're not going to move forward, continue to move forward as a country. But then there's just kind of that friction of where if somebody's complaining about the statue, it's back in my day I had to walk uphill both ways to get to school type of things. That cause a lot of friction, I think.
I tell you, man, it was not easy when I went we were living at 26th and Emerson. Actually, we lived on 26th and Fremont. Emerson was out the back door. But that was a bitch hopping on that bus for that 6-block ride to North High School. That was not easy. Both ways, by the way. I had to take the bus 6-7 blocks both ways.
Oh, my God.
It was just hideous. There's no question about it.
I'm glad you're still here.
No.
Off of that. I mean, 6 or 7 blocks. 6 or 7 blocks. We are, I think the among the problems, though, is, we're pretty soft now. We got a lot of We got a lot of comforts, like when you talk about the World War II. I mean, you think about those people, right? And I remember seeing them I always contended that the original Vikings fan base, the Met Stadium fan base, right, was World War II vets, and those old guys would show up in their snowmobile suits and with a flask, and they would get probably as drunk as fans do today. The difference was they didn't fight; they sat there and they watched the game. But they had seen a lot of stuff. I just think that there is a softness now that exists in our culture that makes it a lot more difficult. But I do think that the lack of actual communication necessary is what you're talking about too.
Yeah, absolutely. We do need to talk to one another. There's no question about that. Now, a big problem there that Gen Zers see, that you guys see, and my generation sees, if you turn on the television, you're going to get lied to the entire time you're sitting there watching it. And I'm talking about the national news. My God, you turn to the national news, and I don't care which channel you put on. It's horrible. We're all coming apart. The world's coming to an end. Settle down, for Christ's sake. And the one thing before we move on, because I do want to talk some sports with you, because your basketball team bounced back, which is nice to see, and also a couple other things. But no, I just, once again, just calm down. Everything will be fine. Relax. Right?
Yes.
All right.
I like it.
Kids all good with us, ladies and gentlemen. Score North. We got a basketball team. They had a pretty good win last. Now, again, their opponents were not the best team in basketball, but still a win is a win, is it not?
Yes. And considering how 2024 has started, you will take whatever wins you can get.
Exactly.
I'm not going to complain about wins. Not after what we've seen so far. It's been a rough start. So yeah, they Orlando's actually the team that they played is a plucky team. They're not bad, but they were down a couple of guys, and so they just drilled them. And now they play Boston tonight, and I guess because of the storm up and down the East Coast, their flight couldn't get out of Orlando last night, so they're going to have to fly in this morning.
Ooh.
And Boston is really good, so that's going to be that would be a surprising win tonight if the Wolves can beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was my favorite team before we had a team, the Timberwolves. My favorite team was the Boston Celtics. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I suppose Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, certainly being from the University of Minnesota and Hibbing, Minnesota, didn't hurt. So, it's still a little tough for me when the Timberwolves play the Celtics because I don't know who to root for. There's still some of that in me that's like, oh, man, all those great Boston years,
Yeah. I think if the Celtics wear their traditional green or white, if I'm you, I'm pulling for the Celtics. But if they pull out some newfangled duds there, I'm out on that. It's like when the Knicks wear these alternate. It's like you're the bleeping New York Knicks.
Right.
And I get it. For most of these teams, I don't care, but there's certain teams, right? The Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics. Wear the crap you wore when I was a kid, because you are heritage franchises.
No question about it. Honestly, God, Robert Parrish in that Celtics uniform, that was phenomenal. It was just the greatest. That's all I'm saying, man.
At the Garden too.
Oh God, yes.
The dead parquet floor at the Garden, watching games on CBS with like Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn on a Sunday. You kids miss that.
You guys did. And the other thing I will tell you about Boston, I love the city of Boston. A lot of people don't like it there, and they go there and they see. But again, I suppose the way you grew up, I am used to people going, yeah, why don't you blow it out your ass? I'm very comfortable with that, you know? So
East Coast is great.
It is. I love it. I love
East
Boston,
Coast.
All of it. And I would say all of it, right?
Yes. Well, and the thing too, that, and this is the one thing about, well, especially not so much St. Paul, but in Minneapolis, we tore down everything like that we possibly could. Like you go to Philadelphia, 1800s, right? You got like history there. Boston, you got history there.
Yep.
Our downtown in what, the 60s, right, Tom? We tore down almost everything we possibly could. I love that. I love that history.
Yeah. Oh God, the downtown with those old style buildings, it was just spectacular. And they went with that lame ass, boring. Oh, we'll cut it down and everything's going to be square and it's not going to have anything fancy on it. Forget that. Like that was my generation that did that, by the way.
Yeah,
definitely. So, you know, we're all at fault for something, but still that one person on the show that I just can't stand. You know,
Age has been totally quiet.
I've been doing that for 53 years and nobody's ever figured out what I mean by that. Basically, if I tell you I like you, it means I'm trying to keep you at a distance. It's true. Oh, you're a good guy. Just wait over there, though. But if I come to you and go, you know what? You're a pain in the ass. It means I like you, because otherwise I wouldn't say things like that. Right?
Right.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
I think AJ's looking at me like, what the hell are you even
talking? He's like, are you sure you like me? I mean, I don't think you like me.
We toe a fine line, and that's all right.
I feel like the big twist is going to be Tom doesn't like himself.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not evident. That's pretty obvious, don't you think?
The one person on the show he doesn't like.
You might be right about that. I might have been talking about myself the whole time.
Right?
M. Night Shyamalan-esque.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
What a twist.
Every night when I kiss Catherine goodnight, and every morning when I kiss her good morning, I go, really? 43 years you put up with this bullshit? Jesus. Thank you, dear. And she doesn't argue that, by the way. She never goes, oh, that's not true. She goes, yeah, you're right. Okay, well, thanks, dear.
Oh, what wife does? My wife's the same exact way. She's always like, the dog and I just want you to shut up. I'm like, okay.
The dog does. That's exactly right.
Oh, the dog looks at me. My Dawn and the dog look at me in the exact same way, which is, would you quit flapping your lips and shut up?
But that's what you do. You talk for a living. I mean, when I get in elevators with people, they look at me like, man, because I like, tell jokes, or I schmooze with them about their dog, or I do this, or hey, whatever. I don't shut up in the elevator either. That's what I do. And that's what I've done for a living since I was 16 years old. So shut up and listen. What do you think?
I'm a professional at this.
Yes, I'm a professional at doing this. No, but in any case, so we got the Wolves back to looking pretty good, because look, every team's going to have some weeks that don't go so well. It's just going to happen. So now that the freezing cold weather is coming along, the Timberwolves do need to win every game, because the weather sucks so badly. You got to win all the games, right?
Well, here's my question too. There's all the snow around us. Are we going to continue to dodge it? This is remarkable. I saw Milwaukee and Chicago are going to get inundated like in the next 2 days. Iowa and I think southern Minnesota just got hit. We are in this pocket of just, it's glorious. It's like we're domed.
Right. And it's all over the United States, by the way. It's not just in the Midwest or the East or the West. The weather sucks this year. It's amazing.
It's a weird year too, though, because it's been so warm, and now it's like, to your point, I saw it's supposed to be with wind chills like 15 below.
That's cold.
Yeah, I don't like that.
All right. Any closing arguments for any team I should be watching or not watching?
Well, the Twins are doing nothing. The Vikings are mercifully done, and the Wild's not good. So no, I have nothing for you. I think. Oh wait, Gopher basketball. Gopher basketball is actually playing well. Yep. There might be a reason for you to go to the barn, Tom Barnard.
And I love the barn. You ever play a basketball game, a pickup game on that floor?
Never been on. I've been on the floor, but I've never played on it.
You know what I did the entire time? We played a 5-on-5 game there many, many years ago. And I basically stood there and watched Don Shelby shoot about 40-footers. Damn. You know, that was a damn good basketball player. Did you know that Don Shelby is a phenomenal basketball player?
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, he's from Indiana, right?
He is indeed.
He is a Hoosier. He is a basketball guy through and through.
He's another one. Whenever the press goes after me for being, against this or against that, and you don't like this, you don't like, Democrats, Shelby calls and just laughs. Because there's no more liberal guy on earth than Don Shelby, but I love the man. He's one of my best friends. And he thinks that's very funny. It's like, oh, so I get called a piece of shit and you think that's funny.
I was going to say he appreciates it.
He appreciates that. So, thanks, Don, my good pal.
Oh, boy.
All right, Pally. We will talk to you again tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Right.
Sounds good. I'll talk. Yep, definitely. I'll talk to you on Thursday.
Great. Thanks, Judd Zalgad. Ladies and gentlemen, Score North. Judd Zalgad, brought to you by Bielke Law Firm. Heard at work. Dave Bielke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims, denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to BIALKElaw.com. And please tell them Tom sent you. We shall take a break. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Egger. Who's better than Chris Egger?
Do you want a list? Or do you
How much time you got?
Yeah.
Right. If you thought the Epstein list was long, wait till you see this one.
There you go. Chris Eggert on the Epstein Island. Yeah.
Oh, no. You guys are the worst.
That is really funny to me. I will tell you that. You know how can you imagine how nervous and uncomfortable that man would be if he was even on the island doing nothing?
I think he gets nervous and uncomfortable at like the cafe at Hubbard.
Yeah.
He does. You're right. Well, he'll be with us in just a couple of minutes. K&L Surplus and Ammo is your one-stop shop for all firearms-related products and is the preferred choice among enthusiasts for over 25 years. Why? Well, pricing. K&L Surplus and Ammo offers some of the best prices in the region. You might find a good sale now and again at a big box store, but K&L always has great pricing. And unlike a lot of other stores, K&L always includes tax in the listed price. K&L Surplus and Ammo is veteran-owned and offers first responder and veteran discounts. K&L is also committed to safety and a licensed FFL retailer. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. So, go to www.klgunstore.com. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet Care. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security and investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk, of course. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to use my professional voice now. Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Chris Eggert now joins. Who is the country singer again? I was talking to the people at the hospital, and they need your help. Who is that guy? He's got this beautiful, deep voice. He's always wearing a cowboy hat.
Jelly Roll?
No. Chris Stapleton?
Nope, not him. He's an older guy. He'll literally, his voice is this deep every time he talks. It's great to see you, everybody. Thanks for coming to the concert.
Scotty McCreery.
No, I don't think that's it either.
You're talking about Trace Atkins.
Trace Atkins. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly. Honestly, God. Hey, Tom, how are you doing today? Well, not too bad, Trace. Because you end up sucking your voice down when you talk to him. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Do you know, the people know that we all do that to try to fit in better? Even if you don't know you're doing it, when you talk to someone with a higher voice, you talk up here like this. And when someone with a lower voice, you do this.
I could see that, Tom. Do you know what else happens? When somebody shakes my hand hard, I want to shake it so hard back.
So do it. You're strong.
Yeah, I do.
You got no problems. I mean, other than working with Chris Eggert, that's a huge problem. But other than that, you're good.
Yeah, I would like to I have a couple things to say about, as you guys were going into break, a couple of things that were stated.
What?
Me being at Epstein Island.
I don't remember hearing that.
And then Brittany said he's anxious and upset standing in the Hubbard cafeteria or something to that effect.
Oh, Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah, she made it sound like for you to go to the cafeteria, you're like a scared little mouse that's just
yeah.
You put out like like somebody who could find themselves in precarious situations, like kind of anxious sometimes in basic human interactions. Am I wrong?
The guy that's on TV every day for a living is nervous to go to the cafeteria.
Oh, I'm sorry, because people don't put up like a wall with the TV.
I'm definitely not anxious in the cafeteria. In fact, it's probably the one place I like to go most here at Hubbard Broadcasting. I do, however, have a bit of a problem with sort of just random small talk with people.
Yeah,
I've got very low self-esteem, so I don't usually try to bother people, but it's got nothing to do with me being anxious. It's just having a terrible viewpoint of my place in the world. Is that anxious?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have seen him absolutely shaking the other day. He had to come up through the radio portion of the Hubbard building, and there was a tour that came through, and Steve Patterson like dragged him by, and the women were swooning, and he was just like, okay, thanks for watching.
That's what's so funny, Chris. You're so likable. Everyone likes you. Just know you're never bugging anybody. You have such so I guess maybe I project because you remind me of my husband, and you guys are both like, when you're in your field, killing it. And then like simple interactions, they're like, I'm sorry, I don't want to bug you, but I'm like, what? Like that is the vibe. And I just want you to know, we all like talking to you on any level. So.
Well, not all of us, but.
Well, that was very nice of you to say, Brittany. I don't know what to say now because now
All right, that's going to do it for Chris Eggert today, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, now I'm anxious and nervous.
That's right. That was a weird segment.
Hey, why don't I tell you guys what's going on in the news? I do that.
No problems. In a second,
I can deliver death and destruction with absolutely no problems whatsoever.
Okay, we will in a second. But what I want to do sometime,
yes,
the next time I come to the Hubbard building, I want you to be there.
Okay. And
you and I'll go walking through the halls because it'll be that one guy who looks like he's, doesn't want to bother anybody. And the other guy looks like he wants to kill everyone. And it'd be great to see that everybody's reaction to you and me being together.
Given the day, I think both of us could be looking like we wanted to kill everyone, but
I'll just follow in your guys' wake, apologizing and saying they didn't.
Like, no, they're really okay. They're decent guys.
They really are. They're decent people. So I looked through the news today. There's this still that big thing going on between Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel. And does anyone care? Because I really don't. Good for you kids.
I honestly, I heard that Kimmel kind of came out and said, I haven't even heard it yet. I read it, but I didn't listen to I assume he did it in his monologue.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care.
I don't either. Good for you guys. Matter of fact, if both of them called me and said, hey, you want to go to dinner, and go, oh, I would, but I got to fold socks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might do ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I might. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You might do that? All right. Well, what he just, I have never met him or anything like that, but he just puts this vibe out that he just thinks he's so much better than everybody else.
Well, listen, the guy, I mean, that, you're not wrong, Tom. I would agree with you, but these guys don't live in real life.
No, they don't. You're absolutely right.
Particularly athletes like to that level. The guy's been making millions and millions and millions, so sort of regular human interactions or just allegations over some, just saying stuff like that. They're not, it's not real life.
No, it is not. That's a very good way to put it. It's not real life. Those people live in a completely different world than everybody else. Look, there are many levels to life. There's no question. And those guys are at the top level. And I suppose you have to put up a front to just protect yourself, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, though, he definitely over the last couple of years has been a little more out there with some of the things that he thinks and believes. And
yes.
He's definitely seems like he's felt pretty empowered to say things.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead and finish.
I had nothing else to say.
I just, and maybe it's just me, but let's say I'm walking down Hennepin Avenue in downtown Minneapolis. If Aaron Rodgers walked by the other way, I would never even recognize him. I have no idea. I kind of know what he looks like, but I wouldn't recognize him.
I don't know. He looks like walking down Hennepin Avenue.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would stick out that much. I guess.
I don't think so.
Unless he was limping because of that Achilles.
He's just shuffling his feet.
He's on crutches. He had a boot on his foot. I'd be like, oh, hey, that might be Aaron Rodgers.
It might be Aaron Rodgers.
Cloud of ayahuasca. Actually, ayahuasca doesn't come in cloud form. So.
Whoa, somebody knows a lot about ayahuasca.
It's a drink, I believe.
So nobody's telling them. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You don't remember the ayahuasca Aaron Rodgers scandal where he went to a dark room and did ayahuasca, right?
I'm not sure if the dark room and the ayahuasca are the same story. I thought he did a dark room thing and different.
Maybe it was two retreats. One was an ayahuasca where essentially he went to like a cabin-ish type place and you just sit there and you have all of these hallucinations and whatever else on ayahuasca, and you come back a changed person. It's supposed to open your mind.
I think since that's happened, that's where you've noticed a little bit more empowerment with him talking about things.
Yep.
Tom, you should do an ayahuasca trip, and then maybe you could become a little more. Maybe you could come out of your shell a little bit and not be so quiet and soft spoken.
There's no question about it. Even on the street, walking down the street, I should be much more quiet. It'd be great. What is ayahuasca? It's a drug?
Hallucinogenic.
I never even heard of it.
Apparently the trip is quite a journey.
No, thank you. None for me, thanks.
No, that sounds horrifying to me. Oh my God. Me alone in my brain. Oh, no.
Me alone in my brain is a good way to put it. I like that. That works for me. No question. So no ayahuasca. So is it kind of like LSD in a way? Kind of like that?
I mean, that's kind of what since I got except like even next level from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I got to be honest with you. I did LSD once many, many, many years ago. It did nothing.
Damn.
Really?
No, I didn't hallucinate. I didn't. So do you think the stuff they gave me was fake?
Could be, but also I didn't see that coming, that you were going to say that you did LSD ever. I mean, that's
Coke once too, and that did nothing either.
Yeah.
At one time I did Coke and it was like, that's it? That's all you get from you spend all that money on that crap for this? Maybe I was in such a horseshit mood that even the cocaine couldn't.
The Coke just got you like
back to even.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been to a lot of parties in my life. I've never seen cocaine at a party.
Right.
I am told it's around more than you ever.
Oh yeah.
And you know where I'm told it's around at is at golf clubs.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
It's a big golfer thing.
It is indeed, because it makes them feel jacked up and they feel all powerful. So now they can go out and shoot 110 instead of 120. So that's good.
Are you not buying that, Brittany?
No, I'm like thinking about the sport golf, and being on cocaine couldn't be a worse mix, because golf is kind of like you hit slow, steady. And like cocaine, you just want to you would be like booking it to the next thing. It's also, you want to talk to everybody, and it's not like it's a very talkative sport. So I was just thinking about, is it a good mix? No, it'd probably be like as similar as doing Coke and going to a movie. Like, not a great mix.
Boy, that would be weird. Going to a movie on Coke.
Yeah, like you would not want to sit. You'd want to talk. You'd want to like be in the mix.
You eat your popcorn. Hey,
It's crazy to think about how they make movies. It's just insane. I don't even understand.
We'll get through life somehow. It's no problem. Don't worry about it.
This was a weird report today, Tom. I take all responsibility for this.
Why did you bring up golf? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. And then I guess it was Aaron. Let's blame Aaron Rodgers. I think it's all his fault.
You know, the only reason I bring that up, because I haven't played in 6 years, because, well, Brittany knows this, that 6 years ago I said this whole thing over at the Q is coming apart at the seams, and it's going to end in the next few years. So I didn't play golf. I haven't played golf in 6 years. So now this summer I'm going to start playing golf again, I think.
That's good.
But, so that'll be fun. And I always love to close with my Timmy Laudner story. How you can feel just like a total piece of crap playing with somebody like that. Number 9, Golden Valley, 362 yards, I believe, is the hole. I had to drive to about 250, so I'm like, 110 in, no problem. He took out one iron and hit it about 10 yards short of the green. I said, get away from me. Don't ever come near me again. I hate you.
No kidding.
That boy can hit a ball a long way, man. Woo! All right. See, now we entered on a happy note that we're happy for Tim Laudner, because
that's a nice shot right there. Holy cow.
By the way, I only met her once, but his girlfriend's far too good for him. That's all I have to say.
I'm gonna need a picture or something to go along with that.
That's very correct.
By now, we don't know.
Oh, it's a possibility.
Maybe she realized it.
She caught on at the end. All right, Chris, I know you got to get the hell out of here, but always a great, but just seeing your shining face, your lovely face every day is just worth it. Yeah. So, there you go. Oh, look at me. Oh, now you got Brittany doing it. That's great.
Oh, cute.
All right, Pally. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Have a good day, you guys. See you tomorrow.
Channel 5's Chris Eggers, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Before we go to break, I want to ask you guys a question. Because there have been two things in my life that I did in sports that I wish I would have never experienced. Tim Laudner hitting a one iron about 80 yards farther than I could hit a driver. That's one of them. That was good.
Check.
And let's see, what's another one? Well, I used to play golf a lot with professional golfers, and that's not fun because they're so incredibly good. No matter if you shoot the best round of your life, you still look like a turd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That stuff is a problem, don't you think?
Yeah, that's why I only play tennis with 12 and under or 80 plus.
12 and under, 80 plus. I'm sure I'll play golf. It's not a problem. Or the golf, basketball. What are you playing?
Tennis.
Tennis. That's right. Tennis. You play a lot of tennis?
Yeah, I say I'm at a point where I play probably 3 to 4 times a week.
You do, really?
Yeah, she's currently wearing a tennis skirt and has a tennis racket sitting next to her.
Yeah, just so like that's my whole
Just
personality.
For God's sake.
In case a game breaks out here in one of the breaks.
That's the deal. We'll just eat the rest of the cashews there so nobody else gets at them.
It's low.
Yeah, you're gonna
oh my God.
I wasn't even here for 3 weeks.
I know.
Yeah, we know.
It's right. And like also I've not eaten one cashew.
Oh, that's suspicious.
Ooh, suspicious.
Well,
all right.
Not one. Sorry, Tom.
Not a problem. We got to take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Another great guest coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Bialke. You've all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows, the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. For a limited time, you can get the 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That is a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a second to talk about my bank, North American Banking Company. You've heard me talking about them for a long time now. When they opened in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers. Or you know your banker and they know you. Well, a lot has changed since 1998. This commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities was not, well, it hasn't changed. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my bankers at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, member FDIC and equal housing lender. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Dave, ready to go?
Yes, yeah, he is.
Magnificent. On the phone joining us now live, Dave Bialke, brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Hurt at work, Dave Bialke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to BIALKElaw.com. Tell them Tom sent you. Dave, how you doing this morning?
Doing well. How about you? Well, let me qualify that. As a lifelong Vikings fan, I'm in my typical depression this time of year.
So what are they going to do? I'm glad you brought that up because you are a big Viking fan. I have been my whole life. And, of course, lost 4 Super Bowls, wasn't even close. But is this the time of the year in January? Like January's tough enough because that's when the real big weather kicks in and, you know, gets below 0 and all that. And then every year in January, you look and go, oh, the Vikings didn't make the playoffs? Oh, really? Okay, great. Because when I was a kid, every winter would seem much shorter because the Vikings were going deep, deep, deep in the playoffs, 4 Super Bowls, many, you know, well, at the time it was the NFL championship, but they played the AFL Kansas City Chiefs who beat them. So having a team suck all year, Dave, makes it seem like it should be like April by now. Don't you think?
You'd think so, you know, and every year at this time, we hope that they get in the playoffs. They have recently, you know, last year they were in the playoffs and I was at the game, and of course they get beat by the Giants of all teams.
Right.
Yeah, it's even this year getting towards the end. Yeah, always want your team to win, but that last game, you know, you just wanted them to lose, even though you want them to win. It was a tough position to be in, but they ended up losing, which they should have. Detroit is certainly a better team than them. And trying to figure out the next few years is going to be rough. And, you know, I'm I'm not a young guy. You know, I've only got so many years left, and I'm just yeah, the clock is ticking on something happening positive with the Vikings, and for me.
Well, and we always bring it up, but it's such a great story. You have to bring it up. That guy many, many years ago, probably 25 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, said he was not going to cut his hair or beard until the Vikings won the Super Bowl. He pretty much died looking like a Smurf. His hair down to the ground. His beard was down to his belt buckle. It's like this poor guy.
And that guy was AJ.
That guy was AJ. That's exactly right.
Kind of like the old Cousin It, right?
Cousin It.
The little glasses over the hair.
Yes, he can't see anything through the hair, but he's still wearing glasses. I love that. I love that take on this deal. You know what? I, to this day, could sit down and watch the Munsters or the Addams Family and just laugh my ass off. I loved, and those shows came out, what, in the 1960s, the mid-60s or something?
Yeah, they're funny.
Yeah, they made it in late 50s. I remember, you know, growing up with three. Yeah, we started out with one channel, and it was a huge deal. We got up to 3 channels, and that was one of those things that one of the mainstays is like the Munsters, and that, you know. So I've seen all those episodes just because there's really nothing else on back then.
God, and then when I was that age, of course, every chance I got, instead of laughing, I'd go, just like Herman Munster. I always did that because I thought it was fun. Nobody else thought it was funny, but I did. So, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah, I don't know. We gotta get something going. The Twins are not picking anybody up, so it doesn't look like they're trying to make any kind of move in 2024. I hope they do. I love the Twins. The Vikings, I'm glad they lost their last game for a better draft spot. But you got through the Timberwolves losing streak. Now they're bouncing back. Minnesota Gophers basketball team looking pretty good too. So you got a couple of things, but the last time a team, obviously the Twins won 2 World Series, but other than that, the University of Minnesota won the national championship in 1961. So it's been a while.
that was even before my time.
It was, absolutely.
So I didn't even remember that. And you know, of all the doom and gloom we talk about the Vikings and so forth, you know, the Gophers, the college basketball is now a 2-tier. The Division I is a 2-tier deal. We will never see the Gophers even much. It would never a national championship candidate, much less Big Ten. It's just not going to happen. The structure of college football is in a situation now that it's just not going to happen. It's not a matter of who's going to be better. It's just a matter of it can't happen. It just can't happen.
They won their last national championship 63 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh man!
And they won a lot back in the 30s and 40s, and I mean they were a powerful team for years and years and years. But the money's just not there to compete with the big boys. And you know, you got guys like Jim Harbaugh, who, you know, his recruiting is off the charts, and you got the SEC schools. So no, it's I like Gophers football too. I go to 2 or 3 games a year, but you know, that's at least there we know that there's no chance of them doing you know, getting into the top echelon. With the Vikings, we're always going to have that chance, and then I'll be let down every single year. It's the way it is.
The one thing that I feel bad for you guys, and maybe I don't think you're old enough to remember, but Julie Pearl used to be the stadium announcer for the Minnesota Gophers football team. He made the game so much better because he talked like this. He parted his hair down the middle, and he talked like this. There's a squirrel on the field. It was wonderful. You know, that's the guy that would. Those were great times to be a football fan. I mean, during my childhood, the Gophers did. I mean, I don't remember them winning a national champion in '61. I was only 8 years old or something, or 9 years old maybe. But just going over to that area, to the University of Minnesota, is a thrill in and of itself. Maybe not as much as it used to be, but when I was a kid, when you went over to that University of Minnesota campus, man, it was always for something great. Baseball, basketball, football. You know, I'm from North Minneapolis. We didn't even have ice rinks over there, so I didn't even know what high hell hockey was. I literally did not know what hockey was until I met Louis Nanny. That was about it. Louis, Louis. He's a piece of work. You guys know Louis Nanny, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear about?
I've never met him, but I've heard him on enough interviews, and he's still got the accent. It's just fun listening to him. But yeah, I grew up in northern Minnesota, so I did know what hockey was, but I did not know what hockey arena was. there were no arenas around that. I think some, if you get to the big hockey towns like Roseau, maybe had, Chisholm maybe had big hockey arenas, but we didn't have any where I was from. It was all outside playing hockey where you get they're skating around in 10 below and we're freezing trying to watch them and the players. Yeah, so that's real hockey, but that doesn't exist anymore.
No, not really. AJ, you were going to make a point.
It was announced late last night that Lou Nanne decided that this upcoming March is going to be his final time commentating the boys state hockey tournament.
Oh my God, that's huge.
Yeah, so it'll be his final time, 60 years in the broadcast booth for Louis. So
well, has his last grandchild gone through the Minnesota high school hockey? Is that what this is stemming from, or is it just he's tired of it?
I think it's a little bit of both, I mean, the Lettieri Nanne family tree, I think, is going to have hockey players in it forever. So I'm sure if he was able to, he would do it for his great grandchildren, eventually. Yep. But I'm sure it's just a, natural course. You want to get to a nice even number. And yeah, it's sad, but it's going to be one of those, it's going to be a very special tournament. And that's going to make every other player be like, all right, we want to win. Yeah. We need to have Lou Nanne call our game. So
Louis, I still love Louis. The family, obviously, Tino Lettieri is one of my best friends, and Tino and Michelle, we used to go out to dinner all the time. We'd probably get going again after a little break. But the only reason it was a break because everybody had so much to do. Things were changed and all that. But my favorite thing, just to even mention the name Louis Nanne, I got to say, is when the phone would ring. This is the home phone back in the old days, the desktop phone, right? So you couldn't see who was calling. The phone just rang. I would pick it up and go, "Hey, Tommy, this is Louis." I said, "Yeah, I know, Lou. You don't have to introduce yourself. I got it. Everything's covered." But you couldn't ask for a better family of friends than the Nanne Lettieri family. Phenomenal people, every damn one of them. So, Dave, I got to be honest with you. I got a memory that popped in my head just now when we were talking about all that great stuff. Because, got to talk a little bit about the lawyer business and all the rest of it. In, let's see, 1976, I think it was, I left Minneapolis and took a job at WAPE in Jacksonville, Florida. And I may have brought this up to you before, but I think this is something that you should do because it draws so much attention. There was a lawyer's office in Jacksonville, Florida that put up these billboards all over town. None of their names were on it. None of their pictures were on it. The name of the law firm became, and they put a stop to it, unfortunately, which I thought was, don't be so touchy. The name of the law firm on the billboards was whocanisue.com.
Dang.
He goes, oh.
That's all attorneys need is more billboards like that.
Exactly right. Now, that's kind of funny, but it's one of those things I try to do my best to do a clean operation, and I think I'm quite successful at that. And I don't know if that would be a step in the right direction. No, I think it's funny though. Until your practice just fell apart, it'd be funny. Other than that, though,
or maybe it would resurrect. Maybe if you're having some difficulty in it, I got someone here. Yeah.
People might not know this, but in Minnesota for many, many years, you could not run TV spots or put up billboards for a law firm. They wouldn't allow it. You remember that?
I do. It's been we call rules of professional responsibility that we need to adhere to keep our license. And it used to be that was actually prohibited. Advertising was prohibited. And then the legal profession itself, went through it was a very controversial deal, and many years ago, and then they decided, well, why should lawyers be different? Every other entity can advertise. Why can't lawyers advertise? So then it's an internal thing, our own rules for our own profession. And then they changed it and they said, nah, we're going to let you advertise, but there's rules within the advertising and what you can do, but we can't advertise now.
Yeah, it's a whole different deal. Anything that people out there should know, because we got a very, very cold and icy season coming up in Minnesota. It's going to start at the end of this week or early next week. I mean, a lot of people, the slip and falls and the freezing and the cold, and it's like, oh my God, it's a very dangerous time of year in Minnesota, is it not?
It is. I mean, there's the normal slip and falls, but it's also when it's really cold out, people kind of let their guard down a little bit. They're not as careful because they just kind of quickly want to get A to B and get the job done. And so things happen just because of the cold heightens the unawareness, so to speak. So, you know, you always got to be aware of what's going on, regardless how warm or cold it is. But if you get injured, you know, certainly let me know. We go from there.
You do a great job on that stuff. So I'm enjoying these segments, by the way, with you, Dave. You do a hell of a job, so I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. It's fun. I enjoy talking to you guys as well.
Sounds good, pal. We'll talk to you later on.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone joining us live, Dave Bialke, brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Heard at work. Dave Bialke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to bialkelaw.com. Please tell them that Tom sent you. Well, when are you guys going to make a comment about Dave there at the end? Because I just had to do the outro.
Oh,
I thought I heard somebody. What?
Nope.
No, I think Tevin had just was, saying see you later.
Yeah, just said bye to Dave.
No, don't do that from now on ever. It just really fell apart at the end because of that. And don't be nice to people on this show. Cut it out.
Knock it off. You're making us look bad.
That's my bad.
You're making us look bad. No question about it. I have not clicked on this story you guys sent me yet, but this is one hell of a good headline. There have been some great headlines lately, but this one is one of my favorites. Mass murderer complains about being lonely in prison.
I get it.
Maybe if you didn't kill everybody that was around you, you wouldn't be so lonely.
Good. You know, it'd be great if people came and visited me. I'd probably murder them if I got the chance, but at least have you ever understood the criminal mind? Because I've tried doing a lot of reading about the mind and how it works and how you get from just being a normal everyday person going to work to, I think I'll murder about 20 people. How do you get there?
I can't even understand the show Criminal Minds, so I'm not going to try and real.
Yeah, there you go.
Criminal Mind. I don't even try to put myself in that situation.
Yeah, and for this guy complaining about being lonely, once you click on the link and see his face, you understand why nobody wants to come and talk to him.
Do you know what's interesting? You said that because I have not scrolled down yet. I can see the top of his head, but I have not seen his face yet.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready?
Give it a little scroll.
So now what were you just saying? If you see his face, what happens?
You understand why nobody wants to come up and talk to him.
Okay. I'm scrolling. Is he the guy on the left or the right? Because there's two bald heads.
The right.
He's the guy on the right. Okay, here we go. Oh God, yeah. He looks a little angry in that picture, don't you think?
He's just dead staring into the camera, looking like he wants to actively murder the person taking the picture.
That's his please be my friend, come visit me in prison look.
Right.
See, I have to change the verbiage because it's not the way it went. There was an argument once with a guy that looked a lot like that, but he was not a honky. But I'm going to change the verbiage. How can I? You know what? I'm going to have to work on it and get back to you because I'm going to have to change it a lot. Otherwise, it's going to be way over the top. But the guy with that look on his face was walking down the street, and three of us were walking together. I was the only honky in the bunch. There were two black kids and me, and we're walking along, and the guy coming at us. The guy starts making some smart-ass comment about, oh, you young punks over here in North Minneapolis. And I'm going to change the verbiage here a little bit. He said, why don't you leave us alone, you old bald-headed honky? Only it wasn't honky. It was like, uh-oh, I could be in big trouble here. We're like 11 years old. He's calling people names. Like, the guy already looks dangerous as hell. Like they murder somebody.
Oh,
what?
I'm sorry. I scrolled a little bit further down.
Yeah, it's
just keep looking at this, like, see what this guy did.
Yeah, no,
he's doing a high Hitler, like the little Hitler.
I love the fact that when I talk, you're not even listening. You're scrolling down. That's really great news.
Sorry, I was looking at the article that you brought up.
Jeez, I didn't bring it. I didn't post it. It was your fault.
This guy is scary, Tom.
Oh, his name is what? Anders Breivik? Is that how you say it?
That's a great question.
I believe so, yeah.
Norwegian mass killer Anders Breivik sobbed. He is sorry for what he had done as he launched his latest bid to sue the state over his inhumane treatment behind bars. This guy killed how many people? 77 people he killed. And he feels that he's been mistreated. You killed 77 people, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Here's what I love too about the news. I just love this about the news. The far right fanatic, they have to bring politics into everything in the news now, don't they?
Yeah, which is weird because I didn't know they had terms like this and like
elsewhere.
Yeah, like Norway, I'm sure they have like 25 political parties. Isn't that their thing?
There's a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't know if they have a far right and left. I think it's more of a giant shape of something because they have so many random parties. So it's funny that they're putting far right on that because like that's an understatement to say far right when he's pretty much a Nazi.
Yeah, that would be pretty far right if he's a Nazi.
Yeah,
I have to agree with that. The far right fanatic who killed 77 people, mostly teenagers. Was this a sexual thing?
No.
You sure? An older man going after teenagers? Makes me nervous. That's all I have to say. Claims his isolation breaches his human rights. Breivik's 2-story complex at Ringer Reich prison, has a kitchen, a dining room. This guy has his own apartment.
I know.
Yeah. He has an Xbox.
77 people are dead. You killed 77 people.
Yeah. Foreign prisons are wild to me because he bombed and shot 77 people, and this guy gets an Xbox.
I know.
Like, I feel like you lose video game privileges if you murder anybody.
You don't get to play Call of Duty.
No, you do not. In a bombing and shooting rampage in 2011, he claims his isolation breaches his human rights. Breivik's 2-story complex at Ringer Reich prison has a kitchen, a dining room, a TV room, complete with an Xbox, several armchairs, and pictures of the Eiffel Tower. Why does he have several pictures of the Eiffel Tower?
It sounds like a 20-something-year-old's apartment.
Yeah, he also has a live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
He bought all of his decor at like a farmer's market, and it was like only Eiffel Tower pictures were on sale.
Do you think it might be a sexual thing?
No, I think he bought everything at Home Goods.
Home Goods? There are a lot of Eiffel Tower things at Home Goods?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of that. I've never been there. Catherine's been to the Eiffel Tower, but I've never, I have to work. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, I've never been to the Eiffel Tower either. We have that in common.
Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. In any case, he told the court, I am still a person, and there is a limit to how much a person can take. You mean killing 77 people? This guy, is he that mentally ill?
He's got to be. I rarely say this, but this is like one of those things where you've killed 70 people, kids. This was all at a summer camp.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah. And
like
you don't you need to be dead. I'm sorry. And I'm not.
I agree. Yep.
I just don't. I'm 77. You send your kid to summer camp.
Right.
And they never come back. I just can't.
Did he ever give a reason why he did it?
I think political reasons.
It's kids, I thought.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it makes sense. Like I'm not gonna like rationalize, but he.
Well, no, but I'm saying, how do you get political with? I got to be honest with you. When I was like 12, 13 years old, I didn't know a damn thing about politics. I had no idea. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I knew my mother had a picture of. Well, I guess the John F. Kennedy picture popped up a couple of years later, but he was the first Roman Catholic president, so she thought that was a very big deal. That was my first introduction to politics, was the fact that John F. Kennedy was a Democrat, but the most important part to my mother is that he was Irish and that he was Catholic. She loved that whole deal, which I suppose it makes sense, no question. Breivik, who did not who did not flash the Nazi salute on. It said he did not flash the Nazi symbol.
Yeah, I think he used to.
On entering the makeshift court like he previously has. Yeah, he used to do it. I don't think I can survive much longer without meaningful human relations. This guy might be the craziest bastard I've ever read about.
I might agree. And we've read a lot of articles in our time. Like
no question.
And they're all batshit. But this guy might win a trophy for being delusional and batshit.
So these children were how old? You said it was at a summer camp?
Yeah,
so they're teenagers.
Yeah, like the next paragraph gives a bunch of
Oh,
info.
does it? Okay.
Yeah.
He killed 8 people with a car bomb in Oslo and gunned down 69 others at a summer camp for youth political activists. Oh, so it was very political.
Yeah.
What do they mean by youth political activists? Because when I was a youth, I was not political in the least. I couldn't give a rat's ass about that.
I don't know, but I can't speculate on like the whole what young political activists mean or why there's a camp. That's fine, whatever. I mean, my nephew goes to cardboard camp. I'm sure it's whatever. I don't know, but it's just so freaking sad. Like, and the fact that it just makes me sad. The 77 kids were gunned down at this camp.
So he just went in with an automatic rifle and just mowed everybody down. Is that what he did?
Yeah, it looks like he started out with a car bomb and then gunned down 69 others after he said 8.
And this was all driven by politics, you think?
I guess.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he looks at the world as, it's one side. Well, I mean, he's holding up a sign, it looks like in his court thing as he's doing the Nazi salute that says, "Stop your genocide against our white nations." And so this camp was probably some sort of, hey, if you want to be in politics, is when you're older, come to this camp and we'll whatever, I guess, teach you about politics type of thing. And he was like, you're raising the next generation of people that are going to go against me. So he mowed them all down is kind of what I am gathering from this article.
I would never have sent my kid to a political camp. And now, look, I'm not placing any blame on them. I'm just saying in my particular case, I would have never sent my kids to a political camp as children. No.
As a kid who didn't grow up with a lot of resources, I would have let my mom send me to any camp. I daydreamed of camps so much. I wanted to go to camp so bad. And I had so many rich friends in Stillwater that would go to horse camp.
Oh,
and
sure,
I had delusions of grandeur that like someday I was going to go to horse camp. I'm still waiting.
Well, any day now.
Thanks.
I mean, you have to be a counselor now at a horse camp.
Why? I'm not trying to be in charge of people.
She's just going to be in the same class as like 12-year-olds.
I'm fine with it.
It's like a Billy Madison except camp version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys, because we're of a different generation, I got to ask you this because it really has quite an impact on me. I look at all of these different people on all sides and I go, this is the best we can do. Are these people really? Joe Biden and Donald Trump, this is the best you can do? Really? I mean, I don't hate either one of them. That's not the issue. They're both multi-millionaires. I kind of get the feeling that neither one of them earned all of the money, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm working really hard. So I fell in love with the Pop Tart Bowl. It's the football game they had with this giant Pop Tart that became pretty famous for dancing around.
So you want to be president?
Thank you. You knew it. Exactly. He has stolen the hearts and minds of the public. He literally danced his way while he was going in a toaster and then came out and they ate him. And he still celebrated every second he was alive. And Pop Tart, I follow, and Pop Tart, I pray.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's some clear thinking right there.
Thank you.
You know. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
There's no way we could actually elect a Pop-Tart as president because you would get people that would be, well, is it the chocolate Pop-Tart? Well, the strawberry? Well, why does it have to be strawberry? Is it racist not to let the blueberry one be president?
The weird non-frosting one really throw people off.
What if it identifies as the like the funfetti Pop-Tart? You know, like you gotta. Which one?
There'd be a record set for how quickly an assassination would take place. Are you kidding me?
They wouldn't even know where to shoot. Where's his head?
I'm talking about just eating him.
Right. Yeah.
Eating him. Yeah.
Like during his inauguration speech, just people would storm the stage.
Full disclosure. I have never had a Pop-Tart in my life. I never have, seriously. And I've never had one.
Stop the press. I don't really know what that means. Whatever the press is, stop it. The show canceled until we get you a Pop-Tart. I do know what it means.
Okay.
I was just being silly.
I was gonna say we can.
I know what a press machine is. I do think that we need to get I'm texting Catherine during the break.
I'm big a deal. He's not missing out on much.
But that is a life staple to eat a toasted Pop-Tart.
Yeah. Never.
Strawberry? Are we agreeing on strawberry?
No.
Yes.
No.
Strawberries the OG,
The
classic.
fudge.
No.
OG, really?
Catherine on the break.
No, I've had donuts, I've had toast, I've had all that kind of stuff. That's good. Pop Tarts just seem like a handful of sugar to me.
That's exactly what they
Yeah.
are. That's
So that's what they are, just a handful of sugar. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it tastes very good to me.
It's good. It's layered. I would say growing up, Pop Tarts were good. Toaster strudels were pristine.
Yeah.
Toaster one. I don't even know what that is. What is that?
That's like it's pretty much like a donut, but you can put it in the toaster. It's like it's a big square, just like the same size as a Pop Tart because it goes in your toaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's flaky on the outside. It's got, we'd always get the strawberry, and then you put cream cheese icing on top.
So, what's interesting about that, thinking about it, it does make sense that I would have never had one because for 37 and a half years, I did a morning show. Yeah. But before that, the only time I was on where I could get up in the morning and eat a Pop-Tart would have been a short time when I did 6 to 10 over WDGY. Because other than that, I was 10 to 2. Yeah. So I didn't even get home till 3 in the morning. So I slept till noon. So I never, it was lunchtime by the time. So basically my whole life for the last 54 years, I've only had, I think, 1 year where I could have eaten a Pop-Tart anyway.
I know we have to go to break. I am literally going to text Catherine as soon as we are on break because I need you to get a Pop-Tart in your. It's not. I don't lower your expectations, but it's just something a human needs to experience.
Well, I can do that for you if you want. You don't even have to talk to Catherine if you want me to. Do they have like caramel ones or something?
Yeah, I think they have like a chocolate one, but the
chocolate cinnamon.
The chocolate's so cheap. It's hard to eat the chocolate one because it's like you always kind of compare it to real chocolate, and you're not gonna. That's not the vibe.
So strawberry is the one I should go with.
I believe strawberry is the one to go to. Do you like cinnamon quite a bit?
I love cinnamon.
Okay, then never mind. We're gonna switch. I'll text Andy and Melissa. I'll text Melissa. And I'll say, Melissa, get this man a Pop-Tart. I think she'll like this mission. I think she'll get a kick out of it. We can put it on social.
Would you tell Melissa the next time that Ethan comes over, I don't want to wear 7 different hats during the time he's here?
I'm on it. I know as a mom who also has no control over her toddler that she's just going to hear it and do nothing. So I can definitely tell her.
Honestly, God, all day yesterday, hat, because I didn't have a hat on.
Yeah.
Someone put a hat on. Different.
It's so funny. It's like the obsession because Gogo thinks everybody in a hat is her dad. So that's weird.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it might be the same situation. Yeah. You look like an authority when you're wearing a hat, apparently.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. But what the hell? But God, what a joy is it to be around a kid that happy makes you happy.
I know. Right? It's the best.
Although I will tell you what his bone structure and his muscle, he's already got muscles.
Yeah.
This kid's going to be huge for Christ's sake.
Oh, and they feel no pain. Like Gogo will literally throw things and chuck things on a level and then like fall off of the couch and then keep going. It's like they're always on bath salts.
Bath salts?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh, well.
It's been a while. All right, we better take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. A lot of great stuff. Matter of fact, we got a big shot coming up. What's his name again? Brad Blanks? Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Oi.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that. What's that from again?
Honestly, I have no idea. It's just the only Australian thing I know. It's Brad Blanks and that saying.
I know 2 Australians. It's him.
Oh, Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, it's 3. And Ange Postacoglu. That's my guy.
Who's that?
What about the Crocodile Hunter?
He was Australian too.
Rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace.
Why did the crocodile get him?
No.
A little bitch ass stingray.
Who would have thought?
Bitch
Who would have thought? To this day, I kill every stingray I see just in case it was the one.
This is for Steve.
All right, we'll take a break, and Brad Blanks will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombarnardshow.com.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust, who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129. And don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month. So call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forward, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. It's available. Ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Well, I was just awakened to reality by Michael Bryant, one of the sponsors of this show, one of my friends. It says, whoa, 1 year. This apparently is a picture of me getting ready to do the show a year ago before we did. That's kind of reflecting too much light. I'm trying to figure out how to get away from that light.
There you go. There you go. Is that in somebody's office, a big timer's office?
I don't know, but I got my Hubbard badge on, so it must be.
Yeah, that looks like the wood paneling at Hubbard. It's very Mad Men-esque.
It is Mad Men-esque, but I don't think that's the reason he sent me the picture, but I did just realize that everybody's been correct my whole life. I look at that picture and goes, it's true. I'm just doing my work, but it looks like I'm really pissed off.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. I had no idea that I always have a pissed off face. I'm like, what the hell? I don't do that on purpose. It's just the way it is. That actor was Ian. What's his name again? The guy with he's always got the crabby face.
Yeah, you talking about the guy
Ian McShane.
Yeah,
Ian McShane. Yeah, he's got the crabby face always. And then Brad Blanks always has a crabby face.
Yes.
Think about it.
Tom, how are you, mate?
Marvelous. Had a great first hour, just hanging almost hour and a half, almost as a matter of fact, talking about we've covered all the important issues in the world, and we have the answer for all of them.
Yes, no, I could tell. It's been a great show. I've been listening. Brittany, how you doing? AJ, Tevin. I won't say Happy New Year because it's already we're 10 days in, so we're past that. We're 10 days in, so we're past that point of view. But I just wanted to bring up an old favorite. I was trying to find this interview, and I'm going to find it. And if I do, I'll bring it out even a month into the year. It was a woman I did for your old show. This is probably 15 years ago. If you remember, I'd go out on the street every year and I'd get New Year's resolutions. But I'd be doing these interviews, on the first day back, of the new year, and it'd be outside Madison Square Garden there on 7th Ave, and it'd be about 5:30 in the morning, very cold, and I'd be getting all the characters that were walking around. If you can only imagine 7th Ave in the middle of New York City, asking these people their New Year's resolutions. And I found one woman, she had a thick Russian accent, And I asked her, I said, what are your resolutions? What's your New Year's resolution? She goes, I'm going to give up smoking. And I said to her, you're smoking right now. And she said,
I remember that.
God bless America. And I played that interview for you, and I didn't realize how good it was until you guys took it upon yourselves, you and your wonderful people on your show, and turned it into its own bit there. This amazing woman that made her resolutions up to quit smoking, but because of her love to live in your amazing country, that she could break that resolution in the first few days, and bless America right there. So it was fantastic.
Well, it's your country now too. You've lived here long enough.
Yes, yeah, had a good run. And of course, at this time of year, I always slip into Oscar zone. It's like for me, it's always Oscars and Super Bowl. I sort of run timely. I love American football, and I love movies. And even though things have been teetering maybe for a couple of years, but I'm working as hard as I can to get my movie eyes back in. I've seen a few films. I've missed a few, but I think I've got my eye in. Of course, the Golden Globes. I know you've probably talked a lot about it the other night, but we're still getting more. Brittany, this is what you've probably studied the whole reading the lips of Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift interested me. Like, at least in American football, they hide the mouths. Now they know athletes, like you find the dumbest athlete on a football field, and even he knows now to hide his mouth. But Selena and Taylor didn't know that they could hide their lips, and we've seen what's happened, and it's all surrounded Timothée Chalamet, of course, isn't it, Brittany? Yeah, there's speculation of what they talked about. I've seen bad lip editing for them as well, which is very funny. They'll be like, did Meryl Streep just take a giant shit in the toilet? They've edited that.
Oh God.
The big one is they're speculating that the conversation was that Selena went up to Timothée Chalamet and asked if he could get a picture, and that Kylie Jenner said no. And that is what the number one, where everyone is kind of falling on it. But it's total speculation. Nobody really knows. Yeah, and it was about Chalamet because of Taylor Swift's best friend sitting next to her actually said the word Timothy. So we know they were talking about Chalamet. It's a way to go, best friend, for screwing that up. She gives away all the plans. So, and the other big lip syncing thing I saw this morning that broke, that they've cracked John Krasinski. This one hurts me a bit. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. They reckon in their lip syncing there was a divorce mention.
Really?
Yeah.
And I hope not, because they're a beautiful couple. We love Jim from The Office, and so we hope that was it. And they're it's getting chilly out here. Let's go indoors, or let's do this before the divorce. So it's divorce and indoors is the key word. You wouldn't want your marriage to be resting on those two word differentials, would you, Tom?
No.
But of course, Joe Coy's copped the flogging. I laughed at a few of his jokes, but as you've interviewed him many times over the years, he's such a nice guy, isn't he? Like, if there's one guy that would be curled up in a fetal position in a corner right now, it's Joe Coy.
It's true.
And I feel that's why I'm like, oh, geez, Hollywood, you turned against the wrong guy. He's actually a sweetheart, and he's a big hugger. He's taught me as a man to hug other men, because every time I'd see him, he'd give me a big hug. And, I've overcome that, the hugging phobia I have. I now hug men. And Joe caught, but he just didn't. He was caught in that bad zone of he's a good guy, but he wanted to follow in the footsteps of other comedians that were cutting to that audience. If Joe Coy had just come out on stage and been the sweet guy that he is, he would have creamed it. He would have nailed the Golden Globes hosting gig. But he was like sycophantic, and then he was mean, and it sort of didn't add up. Like, he was saying how much he loved Meryl Streep, and I mean the De Niro joke actually worked. The one of his last great performance, and even the Taylor Swift thing wasn't that bad, but it wasn't even a bad joke. It was actually not a bad, in light of the NFL showing and every telecast showing her over and over. It was a good gag, but he'd already lost the audience leading up to that moment. And I watched it with my 11-year-old daughter and 10-year-old daughter, and the monologue, and they were very upset with him saying the word boobies and Barbie in the same sentence.
Oh, sure.
So,
yeah.
I'm like, don't even go near Barbie in the monologue, because you're going to cop the wrath of a lot of serious women, and 10 and 11-year-old girls. So, but Michael Shea came out and supported him. I love the quote from Michael Shea. Of course, he's the Weekend Update guy on Saturday Night Live, comedian. And his whole point is comedians should not do these shows. You can't win.
Right.
They're impossible to win. It's a Hollywood audience. They're only thinking about their trophies, their cause, and getting a good photo and saying a decent speech. So he's right on all those accounts. And then he went into the whole fact that people like Eddie Murphy and Jim Carrey, when they went serious, they couldn't win any of these awards. And he has some good points there. I still think Jim Carrey should have won an Oscar for Man in the Moon. That back in the late 90s.
Sure.
He was fantastic in that. But his line was, why don't expect us to host the Oscars? They don't even nominate us. F that was his line. Next time, get a magician. I just thought that was quite good. Get a magician to host the Oscars. But, now on to Maestro. Did you manage to see the movie Maestro there by Bradley Cooper at all? Is that a Tom Barnard film? I don't think it's your type of film, Tom.
Probably not.
I don't think you'd curl up there on it's all right. I didn't mind it, and I love Bradley Cooper, and I love his mind. And there's some amazing. Brittany, did you see it? Have you?
I did not. Actually, you're one of the first people I've talked to that has seen it. So hearing that you didn't mind it is not a great review.
No. Brad Blanks, he didn't mind it. Well, I love Bradley Cooper, and I love what he's trying to do. That he's obviously tapping into some genius inside him. He's a machine at making these. I mean, his last film with Lady Gaga, I love that movie. It was fantastic. Maestro isn't that. I mean, the true star of the movie is this Leonard Bernstein's wife, who dies of cancer. So we get a bit of the cancer in the movie, which is always a tearjerker and obviously a bit Oscar baity. But a lot of people have come out and said that this film is an Oscar bait film all round, which I tend to agree with. In the fact that it's a biopic and Bradley Cooper plays this Leonard Bernstein, but none of the awards are coming his way. So he's not getting the Oscar buzz that he thought he would with this movie, but it's not bad, and I didn't mind it. There you go, Tom, of my review of this. Not fantastic. On to another streaming movie that dropped over the holidays was Saltburn. Has anyone seen that? Now, I love a good British aristocracy movie. As a convict of Australia that got shipped off 250 years ago, I still enjoy seeing the aristocracy of the United Kingdom, hung shit on. And this one takes a turn, doesn't it, Brittany? There's oh my goodness. And as we always revert to Tom, you're the host of the show and you're a mentor to a lot of us over the years. I would love to see your face when you get to see an actor make love to a gravesite.
There you go.
That was one of the more shocking scenes, wasn't it, Brittany?
Yeah, it wasn't even the most shocking. There was, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but it's funny how we react differently. There's this bathtub scene, Tom. My husband was dry heaving, and I was like, man, this shows like your personality. Like, I didn't think it was that gross. And my husband was like dying. I mean, he's such a germaphobe. So it's like, I would love, I don't know, Tom, if you'd like it, but it's dark. The character acting is amazing. Rosalind Pike is amazing.
She's really good.
Kind of a waif mom who just blabbers about everybody's, behind the scenes business. It was good. I thought it was going to go one way and it went a complete other. So I had a blast watching it. It was very fun.
Again, I didn't mind it. It's in the I didn't mind it camp. But I watched it on an airplane and I had to forward a few things up on it because, I got people sitting next to me. I'm like,
that's not the one I would pick.
No. What's going on here? And my phone, I had it downloaded on my phone. I couldn't hit the fast forward quick enough when a few of those.
Oh, that's not a great movement in that movie either.
No. Yeah, so but Saltburn, the star of it, this Barry Keoghan guy that was in the Banshees of Inisherin last Oscar season. He's a fantastic actor. This young fella from, I think he's Irish, maybe. But yeah, ripping actor. But you know, the other thing I wanted to hit upon is, of course, Jodie Foster. As you were talking earlier today in your show, Tom, about Gen Zs, and we're heading down a divide. She's pretty much come out and she said her Gen Zs, when they're late for work, you know, they actually reply, you know, that she's worked with and her own children. They said, well, I'm not coming in until 10:30 a.m. today. And she's done. You know, it's like, why can't Gen Zs just turn up on time like everyone else? Right. And then when she corrects their grammar, you know, and you know, says you should check your spelling before sending an email. This is Jodie Foster saying this. She goes, a Gen Z will reply, why would I do that? Isn't that limiting? So that's the
limiting.
There you go, Tom. That's the Gen Z world we're living in now.
To communicate is limiting.
That's right. Yes.
If I was her, I would be replying, well, we are limiting your employment to terminate.
We've limited that.
Yeah. I saw Jodie Foster on Kimmel the other night. She's fantastic. My goodness. And to think that she was in Taxi Driver, but even up until making Taxi Driver, she'd already made many, many movies between, you know, from the age of 8 to 13. You know, it's what a woman. You know, she's got the True Detective series coming out, which I think is based in Alaska. So that I mean, that could be coming out this Sunday evening. So a lot to like about her. What a woman, and good to see her, you know, back into, you know, back acting. Not back acting, but acting again. And we'll see her on Max, HBO Max.
HBO Max is kicking ass now, by the way. Got a lot of great programming on there. Isn't that where Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
I love that show. God, what a bunch of pricks. Oh my God, I love that show.
I know, you're so right. There's no character that doesn't have insane flaws where you go, do I hate you all, but like love you?
It's programming's the best it's ever been. Programming on streaming is the best that television's ever been. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I've been on Max. I've been watching the second season of Industry. I don't know, American. I reckon that's a very good show about, you know, banking, and it's like they say it lives in the same world as Succession, because you get that uneasiness of people grappling for their because Succession was, you know, and those guys cleaned up the other night at the Golden Globes as well. And well, it's just great seeing Kieran Culkin getting Best Actor. I mean, he's on Succession with these incredible dramatic actors all surrounding him, and he's a little dweeby character, but he comes out and wins the Golden Globe for Best Actor, which is fantastic, because his character on that show is phenomenal, and he was fantastic in the last season.
True. It's very, I just love the fact that Dad, who in the first episode, isn't he getting out of the hospital or something in the first episode? And every episode, Dad, can I ask you a question? No, figure it out for yourself, you dumb son of a bitch. My God, pardon me, Dad.
Yeah, that was Raised by Wolves. And me and Tom do have a theory, Brad, that Kieran Culkin is not a good actor at all, because he's full on playing himself.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's it. You're right. You know, and wow, just I've interviewed him a few times, and he's a sick little fella. Sick. Yeah.
Love that
in a good way. But very twisted. So fantastic.
I love that show, though. All these shows you've mentioned, and it's pretty unusual, because you had meant over the years, and you and I've been, how many years have we been working together?
21 years. Yeah,
21 years.
Yeah. As I grabbed my brow, then, if you notice, I looked like I shook my head. I went, oh my goodness.
Exactly.
No, wonderful way. Like it's so what about 20? It was 2002 June. Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, and it was the Friday morning, and I reported live to you from the Tyson Lewis fight. And what's crazy about that week, I was in Memphis, and I landed there Monday afternoon. I was part of the press contingent. I hung out that week with Dave Chappelle.
God.
He was he was Jay Leno's correspondent. Now, up until 2002, I'd missed who Chappelle was, so I didn't know that he was already on his way and had been a stand-up comedian since the age of 16.
Right.
So that puts him at about 29 years of age. But when I was there talking to him, and the first thing I said when I first met him, like on the Tuesday, I said, "Oh, dude, I loved you reporting on Leno for the Winter Olympics." So he went to the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City in 2002 for Jay Leno.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there talking to this guy, and we kind of hit it off. And every stop, every day, we'd go on a bus, and we'd go to we went down to Tupelo, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
That's a town, about half an hour from Memphis, and I think it's where is Elvis from there and Justin Timberlake. Anyway,
I believe so. Yeah,
fact checkers can check up. There's a big casino there, and that's where Mike Tyson was training, and I was hanging out with Chappelle there, and we're talking away. And then at the fight on the Saturday night, and Chappelle gave me his phone number and said, "Hey man, when you get back to New York, let's hang out." And I never rang that number. It's like, it's one of my biggest screw ups of meeting cool people. And then it was probably 18 months later, the Chappelle show, or the end of 2000, but yeah, about 18 months later, Chappelle show launched, and I went, "Oh, that's the dude I was hanging out with."
Right.
Just an idiot. I should have rang him up. It could have been his assistant, got him coffee, or something like that. But they were the good old days, Tom. That was a great event to call in. I think, as I said, I played a hooker for you. It wasn't really a hooker. It was a woman that sold hot dogs, but I made out she was a prostitute flown into town.
Well, she was fond. Yeah, you said she was fond of wieners. I remember that.
Yeah, fond of wieners. Yeah, that's right. Yes. But she wasn't really a hooker. Yeah, I did look for real hookers, and I went down some dark streets in Memphis, and I couldn't find the real hookers. So I had to go. I was at the local minor league baseball game there in Memphis, and this chick had a beautiful voice, and I said, "Hey, look, can I give you an extra $5 on top of my wiener? And you make out you're a prostitute?" And she said, "Yeah, sure, no worries." And so I interviewed her and played that for you guys. So sorry if I, plagiarized or led you down the wrong path there, Tom. Thinking that you had this new reporter that was an expert in prostitutes at big events around America.
The very first time we had you on, I was like, "Get that guy back. I want him back all the time.
I want more hookers."
More hookers. Let's talk about wieners and hookers more.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Little did that girl, that hot dog saleswoman realize that she was a pawn in the early stages of my career. So thank you to that woman out there.
I was just thinking, I don't think Dave Chappelle ever did radio or television. Well, he did some television interviews, but he never did radio or podcasting interviews very much, did he? Must have done some.
Yeah. So he never came through your town or anything?
No, he came through the town, but he never came on the radio or any of that.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, on that note though, the woman that was always on your show, the star of Beef. What's her name?
Ali Wong.
Ali Wong. She won an award the other night, and she's going out with Bill Hader.
I know.
That's awesome.
It was crazy. Watching Kiss, I all of a sudden was on Google looking like a detective. I had no idea they were dating.
Well, that's right. So it's so funny because I look at Ali Wong and all I think about is Tom Barnard. What does that say about me? Yeah,
nobody had ever even heard of her. And then, like I said, she came on the show. She came on the podcast. We went to dinner that night with the whole family. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, first of all. So I understand Bill Hader's take.
Yeah, Tom, I think you did here's how I was so struck by that interview. I think you did the KQ interview after the dinner. So that's what made. Right. Yep. So you might have did the podcast on Thursday and then had your dinner and then on the Friday or something like that because I'm listening to the KQ interview of you and Ali Wong. She was on for an hour. And it was like your long lost daughter returning home to you. And I'm like, this woman's amazing. And ever since that moment, I've just followed her career because I'm like, what a wonderful lady she is and funny. And she talked about her struggles in Hollywood and how, it's tough. And since that, she just blew up. And now she's an actress going out with a superstar creative mind in Bill Hader. What a combination they're going to be if they stick it out.
Wait a second. Let me ask you a question here, and I'm asking all four of you the question. After that last episode of his show, do you still consider him to be a comedic genius?
Yeah, I know.
The worst show ever on television.
Barry. Look, and it's I've kept this in my mind a lot because that whole last season even screwed me up. I'm like,
Terrible.
what the heck? This show was the best show. It was the best show on television, and I loved it. And I waited for it to come back, and I loved the him between Henry Winkler and him were incredible. And
love him.
And he's like the guy that the guy from Office Space that what's his name? Come on, you guys. That was like the guy that was his the older guy.
The older guy, I know.
The older guy that set up. He's assassin agent, I guess you would call him. I love the intermingling of those characters, and I love the action scenes. I mean, the best episode was him fighting the kid, on the roof. He had a martial arts scene, and then they go to the supermarket and they fight the guy. Anyway, I loved Barry, but the final season they went on to some existential stuff that was completely off the reservation. It was crazy. So anyway, but let's hope Ali Wong brings Bill Hader back. Yeah.
Okay, I got to ask you one question before you go, because I know we've kept you too long already because you're a hot guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. It wasn't by a choice of, I don't want to do that anymore or whatever, but for about 35 years, I used to fly every week. I'd go on an airplane. I was flying to Chicago or New York or LA or what. My least favorite, I'll bring up by the way, I was working at Capitol Records. We had a convention in Palm Springs. While I'm down in Palm Springs, I get a call from the agency in Milwaukee. Tom, we have to cut a bunch of new Miller beer commercials. And I said, okay, well, I'll just go. He goes, no, we have to have you in Milwaukee. Wow. I had just walked in the door in Palm Springs. I had to take a car to Los Angeles, fly to Milwaukee, do commercials all that night because it was nighttime by the time I got there, got on a plane at 1 o'clock in the morning, flew back to Los Angeles, and then drove back. I will never, my God, that was a bitch. That was very tough. But because I like to fly, don't get me wrong. Yes. Since that side of the plane fell off, I'm not so excited anymore.
Yeah, but they were fine.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. They didn't bolt it in. Is that correct? Because they can't find the screws, No,
they're gone missing, right? And it was only the little screws that caused all this. Is that right? Yeah, it's like the O-ring in the space shuttle, right? Yeah, well,
exactly. Yeah. You're flying along in an airplane, all of a sudden the wall falls off. That's a little unsettling, if you ask me. But that's just
Yep. No fear though. Just keep flying, Tom. You got to keep flying.
Oh, I do. But Kath and I do drive long distances now, and I like that as well. Yeah, because we're looking. Because I did so much flying that I never got to see parts of Chicago. Well, I actually lived in Chicago for a while, so that's not true. But other areas. But are you going to be a little touchy about flying from now on since the walls are falling off?
No, I've got to head down, keep going, fly in. Yeah. Keep going, Tom.
All right,
steam ahead. Yeah, no, not scared. Got to get around. Got to keep traveling. Got to see the world. Don't have much time left on it. Got to stay alive and see the world. That's the goals.
We'll get it done. When are you coming down?
We've got the Olympics. We've got the Olympics this year. No, I know. I keep saying I've got to come to. I've got to figure out how to get there. And just to think, it was 5 years since. 6 years since I did the polar plunge in Hackensack, Minnesota.
I remember that
at their festival. I love that. That town and those people are legendary. Now, I've made a documentary on that experience, and I still haven't finished it. So I've got to hurry up and finish that documentary, and maybe I should go back to that town and have a red carpet.
Ooh.
Have a red carpet at the local the Return Services Club. I think that's where the big hangout. I went there on my first night there. I won the meat raffle. Which was great. I cleaned up. And then I won the alcohol raffle too. And it was like a heist. I had a lot of luck there. It was like a heist when I was leaving. I was leaving with like 20 bottles of spirits. I said, I probably should donate these back. And I said, no. Back then I was a bit of a drinker, so I took the whole 20 bottles. Anyway, lovely people though. Great time.
No, absolutely right. By the way, for people who've never heard of Hackensack, Minnesota, if it's 20 below in Minneapolis, it's 50 below in Hackensack.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And they had to get the chainsaws out to cut the big hole in the ice. And I mean, this is all new to me. This is what you guys deal with, right? And the fact that we were driving like a Ford 150 F-150 on the on the ice, just blew my mind. And the guy
Yes.
goes to me, take your seatbelt off, Brad. I said, oh, why? We're still going quite fast. And he goes, oh, no, that's if we go through the ice. You got to be able to get your seat. Yeah, you don't want your seatbelt on when you go in the water. All right, mate. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Jesus.
I had a friend, I won't say who he is because you wouldn't know him anyway, but he bought a brand new car about 20 years ago, something like that. Lived on Lake Minnetonka. And it was the middle of winter. And he thought, I always wanted to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm like, be careful because you shouldn't. He goes, you know what? I got to go because I was going to give him a tip. If you're going to drive on the ice, ladies and gentlemen, do not try to pass under a bridge on the ice in a car because of the flow of the water. That ice gets worn very, very thin. Car went right through the ice into the bottom of the lake.
And what happened to him?
He got out. Luckily, he got out and lived, but I guess it was a little spendy getting that car out of the ridge or from under the river, or excuse me, the lake from under the bridge.
Yeah,
I
amazing. I don't know how you do it.
Bridges. Don't do it. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Brad, you need to come to town. I'd love to see you, pal.
It'd be great to see you, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. Bye-bye. See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Blanks, who could ask for anything more? Correct?
I love that man so much. He just brings
Great
me.
guy.
I just smile the whole time he's talking.
Well, he is. He's just a great guy. There's no question. We have to take a break, do we not?
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristen Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them? This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather. That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom. I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow. I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit tombernardshow.com, keyword partner.
We'll do it. There's no question about it. What did he? Oh, wait, that's right. AJ hit the door, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where's Andy?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I didn't go out during the thing. He might not know that we went through a break right there. I can go track him down.
No, don't. He's fine. I just I'll shoot him a text. How about that?
There you go. But you have to listen to this story first, because apparently it's about, you and I have talked about this before. And I said, don't worry about it. Probably a lot of people do what you do. And she said, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I think a lot of people don't change their underwear every day. So.
There's 4 ways you can wear, right? The original way, and then you reverse it, and then inside out normal, and then inside out reverse. So it's like every underwear should have 4 wears.
4 spot. But for men, that's difficult because we can't turn it around because, you know, there's an opening in front of it that if you have to pee in the middle of the night, you can open the thing, but women don't have that.
You've never used that opening to pee in your whole entire life. Nobody ever has.
That is correct.
I know.
That is true. To pull the whole thing down, don't you?
Yeah, never. I've been around quite a few men in my life, and I've never seen them go, okay, I'm going to dig this little hole and get down. Nobody ever does that. Okay.
You hang around the men's room a lot, do you?
Yep.
Well, that's great news. That's wonderful for you. Well, here's the story, actually. It seems like there's an entire wing of science devoted to reminding people to not be disgusting, wash your hands, change your sheets, shower regularly, don't eat Taco Bell. Why would they throw that in there?
I have no, I always thought Taco Bell got such a bad rap because people act like they eat it and immediately liquid diarrhea. And it's just, what? Why are you acting like that? That's not how life works.
It doesn't happen. Well, with me, it doesn't happen. I like Taco Bell. I got no problem with Taco Bell.
I wouldn't say the ingredients are that far off of like things I eat often. Like, I guess if I ate 12 beef tacos, like I'm probably going to poop myself.
Yeah.
But like if I ate like 2 tacos, I'll be just fine.
So don't have any stories that tell me not to eat Taco Bell. It's none of your damn business.
Hell yeah. It's preach.
One thing I don't like as much, I like hard shell much better than soft shell.
I think you and I are definitely in the minority, but like
we are.
I would say 50-50, but I want one of each. And people like, I will get hard shell for at home. Mm-hmm. Justin's like, he'll never pick that, but I love a good hard shell.
Much better than soft shell. I mean, I don't mind soft shell, but I like hard shell much better.
Soft shell is easier to eat. So I understand.
Yeah, it is.
Like if you're on the go, maybe go the soft shell route.
But the pure taste, the taste of it all.
With a little bit of the hot sauce on there and the meat.
Or guacamole, maybe.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, I mean, not from Taco Bell, though. I wouldn't want the guac from Taco Bell.
Well, that's probably true. That's a good point.
And not because it's like contaminated or bad. It's just like in fast food restaurants, it's going to be like that guac mix kind of thing, which I don't really like.
No, I understand. So, yeah, this is strange then. Several top dermatologists are now saying that they don't need, men, they don't say women, they just say men don't need to change their underwear every day. One doctor says, but men's not going to flip their underwear around so the holes in the back.
No. Or
really weird.
Also, like, you can't just make a blanket statement like that.
Yeah.
Like if you're the type of person that like you work construction, change your underwear for the next day. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a day-to-day, it should be a day-to-day basis on whether you do or do not.
1,000%. Like there are situations where like I have to change my underwear immediately. Okay. Like people have different lives. We talked about this yesterday or the day before with the bidet and how different your booties can be. Even day to day, my life can't just say cross the board, do not change your underwear.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this for office workers, for people on podcasts and radio. You're sitting down for 3-4 hours at a time. Change your underwear every day.
It's like the bare minimum.
Yeah. I honestly can't think of a lifestyle where I wouldn't recommend changing your underwear.
Right.
Like, if you have the option, why not just put on a fresh pair?
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Hey, clean underwear is wonderful. There's no question about it.
Oh, clean underwear, clean socks. I could never imagine. Like, I love a good clean pair of socks.
Yeah. Because even like, so after the show, I'll go home and as the episode's uploading, I'll quick go to the gym. And when I get done at the gym, I won't put like the underwear I was wearing in the morning on. I'll just put a new pair on. Like, that's weird that you would recommend men don't need to change your underwear. We're not that lazy.
Well, there you go. I like that take on it. One doctor says in situations with minimal activity and no sweating, changing every other day may be acceptable. Men's loose-fitting underwear styles. The boxers may also allow for slightly longer wear. Unfortunately, women don't get the same pass. Their underwear is typically more tight-fitting, and because of the way their anatomy is set up down there, the anatomy down there.
I don't want to brag.
Now, you don't want to brag about it. Like boxers may also allow for slightly longer wear. Unfortunately, women don't get the same pass, as we said. If they're vulnerable to infections if they don't. Oh, so you guys would be vulnerable to infections because there's an opening there.
Well,
that would
okay.
make sense.
No, if you're a woman on this planet, at least 12 or older, you've worn your swimming suit for too long and gotten a UTI. And so the idea of not changing your underwear is insane to me. So I definitely feel like you don't even have to tell us. Women know we're going to be changing our underwear.
Makes sense.
Well, who doesn't change their underwear?
They're suggesting you don't have to every day if you don't want to. You're not buying that either, Andy. Is that what you're saying?
Andy's not in.
Thanks.
Something like, oh, by the way, Andy's going to be my hero today. He's going to go change out my 14-year-old computer. So that's good.
Yeah, it's not running so well.
Well, for what Andy does, because I like to play video golf. I like to play golf on my computer.
Lee Trevino's fighting golf.
He said, honest to God, Andy said the swing is like this. My computer sold it. The swing is like.
Wait.
Didn't you ever get like the Xbox or something? Was there?
No.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
Okay, but I thought also you got a new computer last year. I helped Catherine set it up
too, but this is not a new computer.
That is so wild because I helped Catherine set up. So is it somewhere?
I don't. It must.
Didn't you remember buying one last year, Tom?
I don't remember that. No.
I thought I remembered going to maybe it was something. We buy so much stuff down here to keep the studio running. It all blends together.
It's worth it. You need a good computer. But yeah, there somewhere there's a new computer. So if I acquire it, I'll probably just, keep it. It's not a big deal.
So is it that thing right down there that you're replacing?
Yep, that's the old one. That's the one that's really been with us since the beginning of the podcast. Although the computer that Tevin is currently on is also, I bought that beginning of the podcast, and that thing's running great.
So rest in peace, Tom's old computer.
Well, tonight or tomorrow or whenever.
So that you're doing it today.
I think, Melissa and Mom might go do that during the show, and then.
Oh, they're going to go get it during the show? Do you know what?
Otherwise, it takes like 7 weeks just to get to Best Buy because of traffic. So
that's probably true. So in any case, they're saying you don't need to change your underwear every day. Uncle Tom is saying yes, you do.
It reminds me of I used to watch, what's his name? Mexican guy with the big head.
Ralph or the fluffy guy.
No, George Lopez. Yeah, I used to watch the George. That's like half the jokes on that show are about his head being big.
That's true, yeah.
But I used to watch the George Lopez show, and one of the things they have a 10-ish, 12-ish-year-old son, and his mom is like, "Why do I wash your underwear so infrequently?" And he's like, "It's a trick Dad taught me. Normal, inside out, turn it around." Turn it around again.
That's exactly what they're saying in this article.
Yeah.
So they got it from George Lopez.
Yeah, it's a way to wear your underwear for 4 days.
Why do you want to do that anyway?
I don't know.
No.
I would never wear it for more than 1 day. That's gross.
I don't want to wear the same pair of socks 2 days in a row.
No. Oh God, that's the worst feeling ever.
The only thing I would wear more than 1 day is pants.
Oh, I do a lot of like this sweater is over a shirt. So I'll probably wear that 2 or 3 times if I don't spill anything on it.
Yeah, the sweater is, whatever.
It's a different kettle of fish. That's what you're saying?
Yep.
All right. So anything you picked up on the way in today, Andy? Any news?
Not in particular.
Not in particular. So it's the same old deal. We've covered a lot of stuff this morning on the show because all we do is serve the people.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's just a given, isn't it?
Yeah, and Tom, there was a story that it's not necessarily about her necessarily that I think would be intriguing, but so there's an R&B singer. She's getting ready to release an album, and part of her album was leaked, and so she's all up in arms because her music is getting out. And you working in the record business back in the day, was that something that you had to deal with, where you have an artist that's getting ready to release something and their music gets leaked, and now that causes issues?
Well, how do you leak music back in the 60s and 70s?
It was all vinyl.
Yeah, you'd have to press your own vinyls with it. And On the internet, it's very easy, but back then, yeah, I mean, the big thing I remember was when like home cassette recorders became a thing.
Yeah.
And people would take their cassette recorder and press it up against the radio and record the songs off the radio in just like god awful quality.
Yes.
It sounded horrible, but people were like, "Oh, check out this mixtape I made. It's, all these songs that didn't have to pay for."
Yeah, what was that guy's name? It started with an N. His company started with an N that he was stealing. Napster. Yes, exactly. Yep. He was stealing a bunch of music, wasn't he?
Well, he made Napster, which was the first. I think Napster was a torrent deal.
Yeah, it was like a file. Like he kind of led the wave of the whole like file sharing, where we can all just go on to LimeWire, Napster, or whatever else, and download everything for free.
Yeah, so he didn't actually do anything technically illegal, but he facilitated illegal, doings. But then again, these days, it's easier than ever to do what they were doing on Napster. You just put it on, Google Drive or in Dropbox or something, share it with everyone, mega upload, which I don't think exists anymore, but yeah.
The thing about that is that technology has changed so much in the past 70 years, something like that, that people are different now. They always go, why are, when we talked about it earlier, why are Gen Zers so much different than millennials? Why are millennials so much different than baby boomers? Well, a lot of that has to do with artificial intelligence, because back in the day when I was a kid, you wanted to go, buy some music. You went to the store, bought the 45 or the album, brought it home, put it on. Now you don't have to move anymore, which is, I don't think, a good thing. You don't have to go anywhere or do anything. It's all there right in front of you, which in a way is a good thing.
True.
Which in a way is a good thing, but if you misuse it, if that's all you ever do, that is not good, man.
Yeah, like when people tell me that they spend like, $500 on DoorDash a month, it's like, how lazy are you?
Yeah.
DoorDash is something, I haven't used DoorDash in ages.
Right.
Even, when I was using it the most, I was using it maybe twice a month, 3 times tops.
I think it's like a lifestyle creep. Like, I think you just start doing it because I don't know what it is, Andy. I'm so with you. I will spend so much money on silly things. But even when it comes to like, we get Papa John's maybe like once a year, I'm like, you know what? It's 3 miles away. I'll go grab it. Because I keep going to the fact of like, I probably have more time than most people. I'll throw Go-Go in the car seat and we'll make a trip out of it.
Yeah,
like,
it's not worth the $15 fee that they charge for me to just sit here.
What's the thing? You got your driver fee, and then you got your tip, and you're like doubling the cost of any food you order.
We used what's the one where they grocery shop for you?
Oh yeah, Green Cart or whatever.
Instacart. We had to use Instacart when me and Justin both had COVID.
Oh sure, yeah.
And that even felt insane. And of course, they got the craziest things. I don't like people shopping for me. I don't think I would ever fall in that realm, because the things that they got, even like they got bananas that were straight up the greenest things I've ever seen in my, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you like doing it your way. And I don't think I can let go of control enough ever to be that person, and I'm not busy enough to pay that price. Doesn't make any sense.
I got to run this by you guys, because I just saw this headline. It just popped up on my computer. Pat McAfee accuses top ESPN executive Norby Williamson of trying to sabotage his show.
Yes, Tom. And I'm glad that you brought this up.
What is that about?
So Pat McAfee had a podcast that was huge, and a YouTube, YouTube stream as well. ESPN bought it for millions and millions and millions of dollars. And now goes on air every day on ESPN claiming that this Norby whoever guy is actively sabotaging his show. And so this was a couple days ago. And then, oh shoot, what is going on?
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard.
There we go.
Well, sorry, Dana from StreamYard, clearly.
Yeah, Dana from StreamYard, get off our podcast.
What the hell was that?
Sorry, I clicked on the video link and there was an ad. But here's the audio of him just going off during his show. Like, he's supposed to be talking about sports, having Aaron Rodgers on, all that, and he just goes off.
We're very appreciative, and we understand that more people are watching this show than ever before. We're very thankful for the ESPN folks being very hospitable. Now, there are some people actively trying to sabotage us from within ESPN.
Funny.
More specifically, I believe Norby Williamson is the guy who is attempting to sabotage our program. I'm not 100% sure. That is just seemingly the only human that has information, and then somehow that information gets leaked, and it's wrong, and then it sets a narrative of what our show is. And then are we just going to combat that from a rat every single time? I don't know. But like, somebody tried to get ahead of our actual ratings release with wrong numbers 12 hours beforehand. That's a sabotage attempt. And it's been happening basically this entire season from some people who didn't necessarily love the old edition of the Pat McAfee show to the ESPN family.
Sure.
So where did Pat come from initially? Where he started out just doing a podcast? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I believe he just had it was an independently ran podcast.
Okay, and was he a sports figure? Because he looks like he's a pretty muscular guy in the picture here.
Yeah, so he's a former punter in the NFL for the Indianapolis Colts. And he was very charismatic guy. Wasn't like a great punter for how punters go, but he's more popular than anything else. And so, yeah, he has this huge show now.
Yeah, because I don't even remember him as a punter. That's kind of weird. I don't know why I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't tell you any of his highlights or anything like that, or even really if he was. He might have been on a Super Bowl team, maybe, but yeah, he's more so known for his antics off the field.
So why would they sabotage their own show? That makes no sense. Although I went through 6 years of that over at the Q. There was one of the people in the top echelon. They tried to destroy the show for 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's saying that it's just specifically this Norby Williamson guy who apparently has the ratings, and he alleges that, this guy leaks the ratings that are wrong and trying to make the show look worse than it is, because not everybody is a huge fan of Pat McAfee at ESPN, apparently.
Well, but that's going to happen. If you're on top of the heap, some people are going to hate your guts just because you're successful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that's why it is. They're going to say that show sucks. No, what you're really jealous of is Pat McAfee's ability to deliver this huge show and make millions of dollars doing it.
Well, he was a Guinness World Record holder for a brief moment as well.
For what?
He kicked a 40-yard field goal while blindfolded.
Okay.
So he doesn't.
Yeah,
you've done that.
I've done that. I kicked a 41-yard field goal while blindfolded, but
yeah, and we just didn't have any notary there at the time, or
I just didn't think it was even worth talking about.
Same.
It's just a Tuesday.
But I don't know why Norby or whatever the hell his name is, Williamson, would want to do that, because he just doesn't like him personally.
Well, who is this Norby Warby?
He's one of the directors at ESPN, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she sure is.
Oh, it's a woman?
No,
no, it's a guy.
Oh, Norby's a guy, yeah. But if you're working at ESPN and you have this even I know about the Pat McAfee show, and I don't pay attention to any of that kind of stuff, but he gets really big guests on there, does he not?
Yeah, he gets like the biggest guests on there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's his show kind of goes through that pardon my take vein where it's a sports show, but it's more just kind of guys being guys, I would say, and talking a little crap and having a good time. Like he does the show in a tank top or shirtless all the time.
Right.
It's very bro-y type show, but so it doesn't fit kind of the ESPN narrative, but he apparently is getting pushed back. And I thought the brazenness of just doing it on air and really not like, it'd be like if you were like at KQ, just dedicating a whole day of this specific person that I'm working with currently right now is a pain in the ass, and they can't
I did that for 37 years. What are you talking about? No, it went very, very smoothly. But seriously, the thing that bothers me about that is, let's look at I don't know anything about Norby Williamson. Do you guys know who that even is?
No.
I don't either. But does Norby have?
He is an executive and television producer, is the executive senior vice president of studio and event production. That's a very specific title for ESPN. He's since 2005, he's overseen all studio shows as well as all live sporting events.
So he's the one that hired Pat McAfee in the first place?
Ostensibly, yeah.
I would imagine that's probably the case. So the first thing that I would ask Pat McAfee, give him a call right now, see if we can get him on the show, will you? Because I want to ask him this question ear to ear or mouth to ear. something like that. What you have to look at is what went through Norby's life. Did Norby get a divorce? Did Norby lose someone he loves? Is Norby a booze hound? I mean, there are all these different things you have to look at, and you do have to look at all of them and go, well, that's why they're doing it. Because if people have big lifestyle changes, they're going to take it off on, they're going to take it out on everybody because they can't be responsible for the reason their relationship didn't work out. So therefore, it's got to be your fault, right?
Yeah, and with you have to look at it through that vein of hey, is there something going on in Norby's life? I doubt he's just that bad of a person. But then as well, like Pat McAfee, I think you shouldn't necessarily be surprised that you're getting pushback because he is so much different than what ESPN normally puts on. They're usually a very buttoned up, everybody's wearing suit and tie and it's all very professional, and he's kind of the antithesis of that.
I got to say one thing before you go to break, and I know I'm way out of line with this talking about fashion and style and all that stuff. Would all of the people on ESPN stop wearing blue suits with brown shoes?
Thank you.
It looks like shit.
What?
No, blue and brown go. I thought it was black and brown.
Well, black and brown too, but blue and brown don't go either.
Blue and brown go.
Blue and brown?
Yeah, that's what would you wear with a blue suit?
I'd wear slippers.
You probably would.
No, I would always wear. With blue, I would wear gray shoes.
Well, gray is
that works.
That when I first started selling shoes, the first fancy pair I bought was gray because with everything. Gray looks good with everything. But
it does, yeah.
Yeah, I like I'm also a big fan of navy and black together. I like the combination.
Yeah, absolutely.
Together. So
I just don't get the blue and brown. It makes your shoes like stick out too much or something. I don't know. Hey, everybody's doing it, so they must be right and I'm wrong. But I just think it looks terrible.
How about blue shoes with a brown suit?
Oh, now we're talking brown suit, blue shoes.
There you go.
Blue suede, baby.
There was a bunch of people at the brown was a really popular color, like these weird muted kind of neutrals for men at the Golden Globes. They were actually pretty good.
Oh, there you go. Boy, we better get to Kristyn Burtt before she quits the show because we're not going to her. What do you think?
I'm in. Good call.
The hell am I doing, Tom? What are you doing, man? All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. Kristyn Burtt will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life. Zero Res Carpet Care, very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Who is the one that's going, you who?
That was Brittany. I tricked Brittany into singing so that way I could bring her mic up.
God.
What? He was singing, and so I sang
and then I
to make him feel more comfortable because he goes, oh, I was singing because I thought he was trying to talk to me. And then I was like, oh, I'll make him feel comfortable and sing along. Did not know he turned my mic on.
I believe that's called entrapment.
Entrapment.
Thank
Exactly. You have to sue.
Made me
although I would say it sounded more like howling than singing to me. But you know, that's me.
I thought I was going to get blamed for the singing, honestly. So
yeah, there you
and
go.
I was going to be like, I was texting my friend a plate of nachos, like a photo of this delicious place to have. Has anyone ever been to Nacho Daddy?
No, we don't have them here.
No.
It's a chain. We don't have them here in California. My friend's in Salt Lake City visiting, and I said, go to Nacho Daddy. You will not be disappointed. They bring you like a big, huge, pot. Actually, it's not even like a plate. It's this huge like pot of nachos with tons of delicious things on top, and it's so good.
Is it a good idea to name a restaurant after abandoning a child?
Not necessarily abandoned. It could be just like, when you were a kid,
Daddy.
Do you remember like going up to your mom and dad and grabbing their leg and then you look up and it's not your mom or dad?
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every kid does that at some point, and that's not your daddy, kid.
It's true.
I grabbed a woman's hand when I was little, and then I looked up and I started screaming. I was like, it's not my mom.
It was your fault, but it's still somebody else's.
It was my fault completely.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristyn Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristyn Bird, I have to ask you right up front. Watched the first episode last night. Took me about 600 years to get it loaded, and Andy was here to help me, so thank God it worked. But Fox Nation has a show on now. It's called A History of, what is it? A History of Alcohol or Beer? What is it? Oh, A History of Drinks.
A History of the World in 6 Glasses.
Oh, it's A History of the World in 6 Glasses. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Dan Aykroyd is the host. He had Jim Belushi and George Wendt on last night. He's having Kevin Nealon on. He's having all these great people. There are 6 guys. And that's why they call it 6 Glasses, I guess. But it's really an interesting show.
It's called 6 Glasses because it's about 6 beverages: beer, wine, spirits, coffee, tea, and cola.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I should have been on the cola episode.
It hasn't been on yet, so maybe
I'm the Coca-Cola expert.
I drank Coca-Cola. First of all, real Coca-Cola, the real stuff, in the small bottles. There's nothing better in the world to drink than that. You know, that little, what is it, 7-ounce size of Coke
Mexican
bottle?
Coke?
Mexican
Coke here on the
Well,
West Coast.
That's because that's what it is, from Mexico. It's cane sugar, and it is phenomenal.
So delicious. It tastes like it's supposed to. Like
it does.
Yeah.
And I don't, it obviously it's a business decision to do like the cheap, like plastic bottle, what do we call it? High fructose corn syrup,
Yeah,
all
it's
of
the corn
that.
syrup, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it sells, like, I will watch it. Like, if they put a pallet out of Mexican Coke at Costco, if you're there, it's gone in a matter of minutes. People run and grab it. And I just think it's such a bad decision to not mass distribute it here in the United States. But I understand, again, it's a business decision. It's more expensive for them.
Well, I mean, the shipping costs of a glass bottle are like astronomically higher, but I feel like they could just meet us halfway and put cane sugar in the plastic bottles.
100%.
Because I mean, it's like cane sugar can't possibly be that much more expensive than corn syrup, can it?
You wouldn't think.
I wonder, actually.
It's also got to be about just the marketing aspect of it too, because people say the same thing about, like, the McRib at McDonald's, for example. Like, oh, we would do a limited supply release of it. It kind of increases the popularity of it because people think, oh, I have to go get it now, otherwise I'm going to miss out.
I'm curious though, and this is getting way off topic of entertainment, but there's been a lot of studies that are saying some of the plastic bottles and some of the chemicals that they emit and that we are obviously ingesting into our bodies and some of the health problems that it could possibly cause. I wonder if eventually there'll be a backlash where we're like, we can't be drinking out of plastic bottles outside of even the environmental issue of it all. So I'm wondering if we'll eventually swing back to glass or
I think it's already happening.
Yeah, I think it is probably already happening.
We are starting to eliminate as much plastic as possible. It's not possible to eliminate even 25% of it because everything is in plastic, but it's like we drink out of metal bottles with metal straws and that sort of thing rather than filling up plastic bottles.
For women, there's been some ties to reproductive issues. So
really,
yeah, some of the studies are showing that there's some reproductive issues with all of the chemicals that are coming out of the plastic. So we'll see what happens. Women's reproductive health is not a priority oftentimes. So
that's not good.
No,
a guy named Emmanuel at a restaurant, 50th in France, Barrio, it's called. And every time they see me come through the front door, Emmanuel sets a bottle of Mexican Coke on the table.
Oh, man, I want that kind of vibe. I want to walk in somewhere and they put my drink on a. That's all I've wanted in life is that vibe.
God, it's so good. That stuff is phenomenal. That is the best soft drink ever invented. Coca-Cola with Mexican sugar, Mexican cane with cane sugar.
I remember one time when I was like 20 something. I walked into Starbucks and the barista goes, "Your usual?" And I was like, "I'm pretty cool, aren't I?"
Oh, I would feel
that's
so
important.
good.
It's only happened that one time in my entire life, though.
When I was in high school, I worked at a Perkins on 394 in France. It's not there anymore. But across the street was a Red Robin. And every Sunday I would call before they closed so I could get there on my way home and get a burger.
Right. No, right where it is.
And so the lady answers the phone and I go, "Hey, yep, like I'd like to place an order to go." And they go, "Is this for Tevin?" And I'm like, "Yep." They're like, "It'll be ready in 15 minutes.
There you go.
Oh, that's customer service. For me, it's always when people spell my name correctly and they know it's me, like at Starbucks, and they'll spell my name right.
Well, the other one spelled, it's Christine, not Kristyn.
There's like 10 ways to spell
There's
Kristyn.
The most common way for Kristyn's are either an EN or an IN. And because I'm the YN, people often transfer the Y to the I and the I to the Y.
Oh, I panic. Really confusing. Every time I write your name, I get to the I and I go, why do I think I should put a Y here?
Yeah.
Like I always panic. I always go, oh.
Well, it's like crystal, I guess.
And then people pronounce it differently all the time. Because I think because it's spelled differently, they think then it's Christine or it's Kirsten or Kirsten or whatever. Christian, I get Christian a lot too. But just remember the Y's at the end of the alphabet, the Y's at the end of my name.
I already forgot.
It's not at the end of your name. It's one letter off the end of your name, you liar.
What's the last vowel?
He's right.
Last vowel. There you go, the last vowel. Why don't we just call you Kristyn? What do you think?
Or just call me KB2 and call it a day.
Well, we've done, Kristyn and KB2.
Yeah.
We got KB1, KB2, KB3. We got all kinds of KBs involved in this. It's just how it is. There's no question.
Darren says that Jeremy Renner is apparently in some a scandal right now.
Jeremy Renner in a scandal?
Oh, you're not aware of this?
What
Apparently he's
dating
someone who's not supposed to be dated. I don't know. Jeremy Renner is accused of insulting Reno family after he began dating their ex-con daughter.
What?
Calling her mom an aunt.
It's out of the Daily Mail. Who's reading the Daily Mail? I'm looking at this right now.
I got an In Touch.
Oh, In Touch, OK Magazine, and Daily Mail.
Yeah.
We're talking quality entertainment.
Really? Terrible.
It's got to start somewhere.
They're all tabloids. They're saying that that she sending her dick pics and later calling her mom and aunt effing idiots when he invited them to his Lake Tahoe mansion.
Yahoo here is, I don't know.
Yeah, no, but
crappy?
No. What happens? And I'm just going to let you guys know on a little secret. So that's the same Daily Mail article that's been syndicated to Yahoo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so Yahoo is
yeah.
correct.
So be very careful, and they'll change the headlines. But oftentimes, it's straight out of like OK or Insider or anything else like that.
Didn't Jeremy Renner just have a bunch of health problems? Like
He was the guy who got run over by the
snowcat.
He got that snowcat. So how's
He is
treating
back to
anybody?
work this week. They're going back to
Oh.
week a mayor of Kingstown. So
Love that show. That's a good show.
yeah, I am, until People covers this story, or Us Magazine, or even Page Six. Page Six is even a lot more reliable than like a Daily Mail. I'm going to take this as tabloid journalism for now.
Right.
Jeremy in general has a pretty good reputation in Hollywood, so we're gonna take a pause on that one.
No, I like him a lot. I think he's very, very good. No doubt about it. So what else is happening? So we find out that what is it? A history of what?
I have to Google it again now.
A history
of the world in 6 drinks. I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
History of the
I
world.
don't know, but we want 6. But I want to see the Coca-Cola episode, or the Cola episode, as they're calling it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch the whole episode, because I'm not kidding you. Looking back to when I was a kid, everything came in a bottle.
Oh, 6 glasses.
6 glasses.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. 6
And
glasses.
it was a book first.
It was, yes.
Came out in 2006.
And I think they did a version of it in England or somewhere over in Europe, and they kind of brought it over here. But Dan Aykroyd, I've always loved that guy. We had him in studio. Brittany, were you there when he came in studio and gave? I still will never forget this. He comes in studio, spends the whole day, went out and had lunch with him. We're hanging out and all the rest of it. He gives the family a bottle of his wine, totally autographed. But, Dan Aykroyd, I came home one day and the bottle's half empty. Somebody opened it and drank half the bottle. Remember
Who did it?
Do we? That's not the Crystal Skull vodka.
Is it?
Is that who that is? That's Dan Aykroyd's thing, right?
I think so. Who was it? Was it Nana that opened the bottle, you think?
Yeah, his is the Crystal Head.
Hey, Crystal Head.
That's what it is. So, yep.
How much is that a bottle?
I don't think it's not much.
But I got to believe an autograph bottle.
Well, yeah, it's the autograph that makes it. Oh, well, I mean, $61 for a fifth. So actually, it is quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
I think largely you're paying for the novelty.
Yeah, no question. But he's a really good. They take it very. First of all, Jim Belushi's good in it. George Wendt, I've always liked him anyway. They talked about how George Wendt, as he came through the door on Cheers, everybody go, George, and then he'd talk all the way around the bar until he got to his seat. He always had something to say every time he came in a bar. It was very funny.
I'm assuming he did the beer episode.
Oh, he did the beer episode. You're 100%.
Yeah, that makes sense. My friend's mother, by the way, was Dan Aykroyd's personal assistant for like 30 years. And that family had nothing but nice things to say about him. He and his wife, Donna Dixon, I think they're divorced at the time now, but they were very generous and so good to his mother, and just loved working there. Like, she never even thought about ever leaving the job because they were so good to her.
What's so funny, because those 3 guys, because again, they have Kevin Nealon and a couple other guys. Who else is on there, Andy? I can't remember who the other 2 guys are, but I've had Belushi come into studio, Dan Aykroyd come into studio, George Wendt on the phone.
Belushi, George Wendt, John Lovitz, and Kevin Nealon.
John Lovitz and Kevin Nealon. There you go. But all of those guys, very seriously, Jim Belushi. Never talked to John Belushi. He died far too early, but. Those guys, those Saturday Night Live guys and SCTV guys and whatever, really, really nice people. Almost all of them were very, very pleasant. Did you have any problem deal with any of them?
No one I've interviewed from that kind of era of Saturday Night Live has ever been in. Oh, wait. There's one.
From Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night Live. Didn't last long because his ego got the best of him, but Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is tough. Have you interviewed Chevy?
Yep. Yeah, he used to come in the studio too, but he came in with his wife. Who's his wife again? Because both of them came into studio, and he was very pleasant because he had something to sell.
Yeah, he's a hit or miss person. I was actually hosting a live show for Toyota. We were doing the launch of the Camry, and we were on the Paramount lot, and we were on the New York set. Chevy Chase came and video bombed us in the middle of this corporate production, but he had been on the set for Community at the time. And anyone who knows Community knows that he had a rough go there, and the cast doesn't like him at all. And they're very open with it. And I mean, I think it was Donald Glover who had a lot of racist issues with Chevy Chase, and
really
not good at all. But he just stood there. So I was hosting along with a representative from Toyota, and Chevy Chase like stood in between us like a frozen statue.
He is
a live shot that was being broadcast across the country to, I mean, all of these dealers. And you're like, how do you explain Chevy Chase like literally just standing there?
I will tell you, though, that bit he did with Richard Pryor, Chevy Chase and Richard Pryor, Chevy's interviewing Richard Pryor, and he starts asking him about all these negative terms about black people. And he goes, he uses one word, I can't remember what I'm not going to use any of the words because it gets really bad. And he goes, this one's pretty, yeah, he did a couple of that were pretty excited. He goes, that's right, that's right, that's right. And then he uses one, and Richard Pryor goes, honky. And then he uses the big N, he goes, dead honky, which I thought was very funny. That whole bit was, the way they set it up and did it, it was very funny. Well, Richard Pryor probably is the funniest human being ever born. Do you know anybody who's funnier than Richard Pryor?
Oh, I mean, there's been some
Robin Williams was pretty funny.
Yeah, he sure was.
If you could keep up with his stream of like, it was like, I mean, you had to really be paying attention to what he was saying sometimes.
But he stole a lot of his material, didn't he?
I think that there's a lot of
in the beginning. Yeah, there was a few.
Yeah, he did
when he was still doing stand up largely.
Yeah,
indeed.
Well, and speaking of stolen material, Kristyn so are you familiar with Club Shay Shay and Shannon Sharpe? Has that been coming across your timeline?
You're talking about the Cat Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've only like briefly seen like sort of what the whole fuss is about. Can you like enlighten me a little bit more? Because I've just seen like everyone talking about Cat Williams.
Yeah. So essentially, Shannon Sharpe has a podcast or YouTube show where he brought on like Kevin Hart and a bunch of other comedians, and they all told stories about being a comedy. And if some of them said to have stolen material from Cat Williams in the past, or said something or mentioned Cat Williams in some way, one way or another. Anyway, so then Cat Williams goes on after all of them went on, and he just aired out everybody's dirty laundry of, you know, this person's stealing jokes, that person's stealing jokes. He did a lot of like Hollywood makes black people wear dresses all the time. And like he covered some of like who was Weinstein. He had like a sexual story about Harvey Weinstein. And so just curious if there was any fallout that you've noticed from anything as far as people in Hollywood talking.
You know, surprisingly not. And I feel like sometimes some stand-up comedians, you know, are that crossover, but I still feel like in the entertainment industry that stand-up comedy is still like a little, it's an offshoot, it's a branch. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when drama happens over there, and there's been a lot, and Brittany, you may know, like Heather McDonald gets into a lot of scandals with different people from Bravo celebrities and things like that, but it still feels very niche because some of it winds up in the podcast world, which sounds like this also sort of is an offshoot of that. Because I'm even like this week, people are still like, who is Joe Coy? And I'm like, how do you not know who Joe Coy is? But for so many people, like this was their introduction to him. And I feel like for a lot of people like this, which I haven't even really dove into the whole Cat Williams thing. I've seen the headlines, but I haven't really read on it. It still feels like an offshoot of like what's happening. Yeah. But I feel like if people paid attention, it's pretty juicy.
Yeah, definitely very juicy. And with Joe Coy, and you saying people don't know who he is, has there been any more kind of reaction of that's noteworthy to his performance?
You know, it's been interesting to watch certain people who have done stand-up comedy, Whoopi Goldberg, Steve Martin, who have both hosted award shows, you know, particularly the Oscars, where, my goodness, you're criticized from the moment you step out on that stage. They've defended him saying, you know what, he did what he could. You have to understand that there's a lot of writers, and then there's also producers, and you have the network whispering in your ear. But I do think that there is some fallout from his Taylor Swift joke as well as that Barbie joke, because people just felt like it was complete punching down and that he missed the point of what 2023 was all about. And I think he had a lot of women, of course, turn against him in that situation. And they just feel like, well, that's his type of comedy. So they're just taking a broad stroke of what he's about, probably without checking out any of his specials now. So, you know, you run that risk. And I saw one TikTok in particular go, watch me. I can sit here and come up with jokes while brushing my teeth that are better than him. So I was like, oh, yeah.
And they're actually funny too, but
they're
you
good.
are right. I kind of didn't think about that, as he could have had 10 great jokes and they only let, because of, you know, whatever, they only let him do one of them because of some weird decisions they're making. At the same time, then that blows my mind that the plastic big boobs thing went through, because that one was just so you can be offensive, but you have to be funny. And that one just kind of fell in the not in the realm of
stereotypical, like that's
easy grab.
To me, that's the obvious Barbie joke. I guess that's just, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
When you had Ryan Gosling in the room, and I was like, why wouldn't we make fun of Ken? Because that was hilarious, and Ryan Gosling was in on the Ken joke throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know anyone. And I guess too, I think I would have gone a little bit rogue maybe when Joe realized that the audience wasn't with him. I just maybe would have pivoted, but I'm not sure, because he hasn't done award shows before, if he understood that he could pivot and try and get people back with him, because maybe he didn't feel comfortable. Maybe he was nervous. You know, sometimes you're just out of your body and you just can't save it.
So he kind of turned on the audience, did he? I didn't watch it, but I heard he turned on the audience. Is that right?
Yeah. I just felt like he started getting louder and louder and started yelling more and getting very defensive, instead of going, how can I turn this around and get people with me? And to me, that is just an inexperience in that type of TV format.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Every time he came in the studio back on the Q in the day, he was a very, very nice guy, real even keel. I was kind of surprised that he would react like that, because he is a very nice person in person.
Yeah, no, he's very nice. He probably hasn't had an experience like what he experienced during the Golden Globes since probably his first couple times on stage, where like he probably hasn't been hit in the face with no reaction or a negative reaction like that. He's used to having stadiums full of people laughing at everything he says.
Sell out crowds, and he's going to continue to sell out crowds. I don't think that a lot of his audience was tuning into the Golden Globes to begin with.
No,
so he's going to be fine, but I do think it does shut down some TV opportunities that he could have had if it had been a wild success.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, who is a wild success at doing that now? Who
Ricky Gervais, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, but they're all geniuses. They've all worked kind of in that format. You know, Ricky Gervais obviously understood the sitcom, understood how to make fun of Hollywood, because he's been in the inner circle of that with an A-list show. And then you have Tina and Amy, who also knew how to do it in a way that was satirically well done without like wildly offending people, because they'd done Saturday Night Live. So they got it.
Right. You know that I have not watched Saturday Night Live now in about 30 years. Isn't that weird?
I don't think people watch it in general. I think people watch the clips. There's always like 2 or 3 clips that go viral each week, and then that's what they watch.
So they don't watch the TV show at all. It's pretty hard for them to make money with it then, isn't it?
Well, they're still selling advertising dollars, because Saturday's a dead zone in general.
Yeah,
I mean, it's in prime time here in Los Angeles. So they run it in prime time live from the East Coast, and then they run it again at 11:30. So they get 2 hits out of that.
I love this article from October. Saturday Night Live returns to NBC with promising audience growth for season 49 premiere. The promising audience growth was a 0.96 rating among the 18 to 49 demographic.
Any growth that they have in 18 to 49, they will scream it from the press releases, which is exactly what's happening to a lot of network reality shows. 18 to 49's discovering it, and they will be like, look at that, because they can charge more advertising dollars with that growth.
But not even a 1 rating, and that's up 31%, by the way.
Oh, God.
So that's pretty sad.
And one more thing I wanted to add to the Joe Coy thing. By the way, ratings were up 50%. So the highest it's been since COVID in 2020. So I just want to say, in all of this, like, people didn't tune out because he was hosting. So he should actually consider that a big win.
You know, it's funny because before I met Catherine, so it's 43 years ago, I used to watch the Oscars and all of these award shows. The day that I met her, she started talking about, you watch that garbage? Why do you watch? I haven't watched it since. She hates that stuff.
So this story you're saying is your wife bullied you out of watching shows you like?
She's been bullying me for 43 years, let's be honest.
I'm glad this is finally coming out. Yeah, I've always known Catherine as the biggest bully there is in Hollywood.
Quite the bully, right? Alex, what do you think?
Definitely. She really is.
No doubt about it. But, you know, I just, as far as entertainment is concerned, like I said, television has never been better because of streaming. And I actually did. Kristen kept the pressure on, and I finally went and saw John Wick 4, which I really did like. I thought it was good. No question. So is it hard now to figure out what people actually want? Is that difficult on, obviously not on streaming, but in movies? Is it hard for them to figure out who will come to a movie?
It's not anymore. I think 2023 was a very clear year where audience made very decisive choices in what they wanted to watch. They didn't want to watch Indiana Jones. They didn't want to watch Mission Impossible. They didn't want to watch Marvel. They're like, we want something different. Barbie, Oppenheimer, Taylor Swift, Sound of Freedom, the movies that really kind of like rose to the top. And I think that that's going to change some decisions on the studio side in the coming years and what type of scripts they greenlight, because they do need to make a profit. So if they're seeing what's making a profit, it's not the Marvel films anymore. They've got to make that change as soon as possible.
Is there one man and one woman like there used to be back in the day? It was, let's say, Elizabeth Taylor and Marlon Brando when I was a little boy. Is there one woman and one man that kind of dominate the business like they used to?
No. I mean, you can't even say Tom Cruise anymore. You could have said Tom Cruise in the summer of 2022 going, yep, he is the biggest movie star in the world. But then he tanked this year with Mission Impossible, so much so that they pushed Mission Impossible back an additional year to just give it some breathing room.
Really?
In addition to some of the strike delays. Yeah, they just realized like 3 summers in a row of like Tom Cruise action films is not what people need.
Yeah.
So he can't even generate the audiences that he used to generate even 10 years ago. And we don't have, because of social media, we don't have that same star making system that we used to.
That's true. Yeah. Right.
We used to tune into the Oscars red carpet because it was one of those big opportunities to see all of the stars in one place. But now I can just go to Instagram or TikTok and go, oh, yeah, there's Julia Roberts right there. There she is with her kids. There she is with her husband. It's just very different.
So will there ever be one woman and one man who kind of are elevated over everyone else? That's not going to happen anymore, is it?
No, it's not. And I'll tell you, covering red carpets is challenging because you can go to, let's say it's a big, important A-list type of red carpet, like a Top Gun. Not only will the cast be there, but now they invite influencers. They invite YouTube personalities. They invite a younger generation, and it is a huge mix. And you'll look at your tip sheet, which is like a face sheet of everyone that's expected to show up on the red carpet. And sometimes you are Googling, like, who is this person? And you go, oh, okay, they're a TikTok influencer who covers, TV and entertainment, and they're important to having them on this red carpet because they're going to influence a younger generation to possibly buy tickets.
Yeah. I mean, I look, I've been a fan since we had a television when I was 4 years old, which a lot of people did not. So I remember all the way back. First of all, I got lucky because that was very, very early in my life. But the biggest show at the time was the Jackie Gleason show. And I will never forget it all these decades later, the influence that show had on our entire society. But there aren't any shows like that anymore that influence the entire society, are there? Or maybe there are, but I don't think so.
I don't think that there's anything that's massively influential the way it used to be even 10, 15, 20 years ago. We consume media very differently. It's very divided generationally. The boomers are going to kill. Once the boomer generation is gone, we're going to lose cable TV because they're the ones who are still subscribing.
Yep. Really?
Yep. You look at like Gen Z and Alpha Gen, they're not watching TV. They're watching TikTok. They're watching YouTube.
Right.
So, you know, that, and right now, so it's kind of like Gen X and millennials that are holding up streaming. So once those generations are gone, it's going to look very different when you have Gen Z and Alpha Gen and whomever's coming up behind them. It'll be something different.
I mean, it's pretty interesting. You look at it when I was a very little boy, say 4 years old, Jackie Gleason and Lucille Ball were the biggest deal. And Lucille Ball was huge. That'll probably never happen again, huh?
It will never happen again. It'll never happen again. And think of like in your lifetime, the shifts you've seen in the entertainment industry in terms of technology, studio system, film, all the changes that have come. It's pretty incredible.
Should people be a little wary about the younger children watching TikTok? Because I've never been on it, but I understand it can be very, very political. Is that true?
It really depends on your algorithm and what you're watching. So yeah, it's very tailored to you. Honestly, like my algorithm is, you know, TV and entertainment and cat videos. So because I like to like click on cat videos, so it gives me a lot of cat content. So it depends on what your kids are watching. I mean, any parent that has their kids on social media should be monitoring anyway, because the same thing's going to happen. It's not just TikTok. It's the same thing's going to happen with YouTube or Instagram, or if they're on Facebook or Twitter, whatever it's called now, X. All of that gets tailored to you.
It's pretty interesting because I don't, like I said, I don't go on social media. So I've heard from other people that Xi Jinping hops on TikTok and tries to influence everybody, and he does it in a very covert way. Is that not true?
That's never come across my account. I don't know about Britt, Tevin, you guys.
No. Oh, mine's not muted. There we go. Sorry, it kicked me out for a second. Yeah,
no, I kicked you off. It wasn't just dipped.
I completely understand. Yeah, no, I think you're right about the algorithm thing. Is that it shows you kind of what you're already interested in. Which Tom, you know, they did a whole special on how that can be really bad because it can push you to extremes or kind of push you in an area that like you're kind of interested in, and next thing you're pushed, like you could be down the middle, and that's why it could be problematic. So I see where you worry about TikTok and things like that for sure. And I think it would be a different experience for you than it is for me and to Andy, to Alex. And it is, I think that's scary with kids because all of a sudden they'll get a taste of something and their eyes will be on it for an extra 3 seconds, and TikTok grabs that and goes, okay. So they liked when we showed this box cutter cutting into something. Let's show them something else with a knife. And like it can get crazy.
Yeah, that's not good.
But that's algorithms across the board. Netflix does it, Facebook does it, Instagram does it. If they see that you have a taste of something, they'll keep pushing you kind of in that direction or like feeling out what you like.
Does anyone here remember Elsa Gate?
No.
No, you don't remember Elsa Gate? It was like late 2000s, I suppose, because I think YouTube started in like 06 or something like that. So late 2000s, what was happening is what you were suggesting. So kids would go on YouTube and watch these videos, and some program would figure out what they're watching, like what's most popular, and then it would generate more videos based on what it thinks is more popular. So it's like, you know, the reason it was called Elsa Gate is because people would make these knockoff animations of Elsa, like, you know, Elsa goes grocery shopping or something like that. And then so kids would watch it, and then the algorithm would be like, okay, so kids like Elsa, but what else is happening? Elsa, you know, she's going grocery shopping. Sure. So there'd be a bunch of those. But for some reason, somehow it started drifting into like Elsa is going to the bathroom. Elsa is getting surgery without anesthesia.
Jeez.
What?
Elsa and Spider-Man, you know, Elsa, you know.
I've never heard this before.
Elsa. Yeah, it was a big thing like 13-ish years ago.
I remember that. Yeah.
If you just Google Elsagate, and yeah, it started generating these just like bizarre videos, which didn't make any sense. Of just like, you know, it'd be like Elsa getting like, she had her hair burned off, so they had to like give her surgery to fix her hair and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's bad. You have to watch what your kids are watching. I remember I was watching my nephews and they were on YouTube, and all of a sudden they're watching this Ghostbuster video, and at the end the man shot himself in the head.
Yeah, and these animations are like, they're very clearly made by bots.
Yeah.
Who just like take these pre-made assets and arrange them in a way that's like, you know, similar-ish to what the algorithm thinks is what kids like. But then it starts like, yeah, it's like these two kids are playing, and then like just one starts peeing in the other's mouth.
What?
Because the algorithm, it knows toilet humor. Kids like toilet humor.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily meant to be all that nefarious. And I like kids are kind of like, whatever. They don't even think it through. Like a gun to the head to them. I watched, you know, I was like, whoa. And I wouldn't even say they were that, you know, it was more silly in their mind.
Right.
Because
but like the bots making these things don't know that you know, there's a difference between like, you know, it's like ha farts and, you know, peeing in someone's mouth.
I know the whole second grade class is blown away by the fact that I don't let our kids watch YouTube, because they'll be like, "What's Fawn's favorite YouTube channel? What does Fawn like to watch on YouTube?" I'm like, I don't let her watch YouTube.
Yeah.
No, and they're like, they're all like, "What kind of mother are you?" And I'm like, "Sorry, I don't know."
Gotta be common.
That's too young.
It's not common.
No.
Oh, that's weird to me.
Yeah. Social media is bad for everyone's brain. Let's just like even adults.
It is. Yep.
Even adults.
There are certain things like I will watch YouTube with her because she's like really into contortion. She went, not really anymore, but like for a while she was really into watching contortion videos. So I was like, okay, we'll watch like America's Got Talent highlight contortionist videos and stuff like that. And a friend showed her like tiny baking show. And I'm like, if I'm there with you, I will, but I don't just like, here's a tablet, have fun on YouTube. Cause I'm like, it can turn real weird real fast.
Yeah. Tiny baking show's adorable though.
It is. And then she likes to make tiny baking show. Like there's no show, but she bakes little tiny things.
Little baby pies.
It's very sweet.
All right. Brittany and Kristyn are going to charge us extra if we don't let them go home.
We're out of
Don't
here.
worry. I've been getting my fill of extras over here.
It's almost gone.
I'm going to demand Mexican Cokes in my next paycheck.
Oh my God. Don't even bring it up. I love Mexican Coke. It's the best ever. Kristyn Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristyn will talk to you tomorrow. Brittany will talk to you tomorrow. We'll come back and close this out in just a couple seconds. He's not supposed to. So late. He's going to go to the break. So we're not going to come back.
I don't think so. Well, I'll be able to insert that wall.
You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. That comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98, and for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan. a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it. Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Tom Barnard is back. Every weekday, you'll hear Tommy B, Brittany Arneson. Yes, that Brittany Arneson. Along with Tom's pals, Kent Herbeck on Fridays, Bob Sansevier, Mike Stretch Gelfand, Tim Lammers, and from Channel 5 Eyewitness News, Chris Eggert and Kristen Burt on entertainment and pop culture. It's Tom and the crew with opinions on news, opinions on life, opinions on entertainment, and of course, opinions on other people's stupid opinions. The Tom Barnard Show is a podcast, so you can listen when you want to listen. In the car, on the way to or from work, at home, on the job site, or wherever you need your Tommy B Show fix. Hear the show on the Tom Barnard Show app in your app store, as a podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, or see it on YouTube on the Tom Barnard Show channel.
Ooh, we figured it all out on the run. I like it like that.
He doesn't want to leave. So let me explain what happened. We are so late that the system interpreted that as we're skipping the break.
Phone.
Yeah. So I'll just insert the ads in post afterwards.
Okay.
This is hour 3 or hour 4. Does that work?
Oh, you see me up there? You see
Yes,
yourself?
that works. I was very confused.
Yeah, if we're late enough, the system will just skip the break entirely, and you can't go back and play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
there's a special way you can do it, but I'll talk to you about it after the show.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll get it done. All right, so you got to hit the road now, buddy.
Uh-oh. He's going to wreck the show.
Oh, God. He's going to be mad.
I'll
be right out, honey. I'll be right out.
So desperate.
Yeah, not close to my grandkids at all. Have you noticed?
2 dogs, 5
2
people.
Jeez.
We're loaded for bear. That's the plan.
Yes.
So we cannot run that late again because it just changed everything.
We were later yesterday.
Who's we? I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's right. You had nothing to do. What do you mean we were later yesterday?
We were later yesterday than we are today.
Well, but that's because it cut out the commercials. Yesterday it ran the commercials and made
yesterday we hit like the last break before it cut out.
Yep.
Where today we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then we went long.
Fun times.
But we can always put the spots in, so it'll work out just fine. So what's the latest?
Oh, there you go.
What is the latest?
I have work to do, I suppose. That's my latest.
Anybody have any information on those tunnels in Brooklyn?
What are you talking about?
The tunnels.
We talked about that yesterday.
I don't remember.
Underneath the synagogue. All of a sudden
those are in the news again today.
Teenagers were digging a tunnel that had mattresses and strollers
Yep.
and high chairs in them.
Well, that's creepy.
I don't know what the hell that was all about. Yeah, there was some really weird deal yesterday. Digging tunnels under a synagogue in New York. I don't really. Does anybody understand what they were? Did they ever say what they were doing?
I don't know what they were doing, but there was apparently 9 people were arrested.
Oh, really?
Some sort of altercation, like a fight.
And on social media, it's like everybody's like, or not everybody. Some people are saying, "Well, what's the big deal? You can't just dig tunnels under buildings.
No, you cannot.
In cities.
What's the big deal?"
And the fact that there were all these children's things found in there, super gross. I mean, what is happening?
Yeah, that is a bit much.
And that nobody know. I guess the only reason why anybody said anything is people felt like they were hearing voices in their apartments. So the sound was coming from the tunnel up into people's apartments. That's how they found out about it.
I have a question for you. Can you imagine, let's say 100 years ago, 1924, how many tunnels were being dug under cities throughout America and nobody ever knew about it and they still don't know they're there?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet you people dug a lot of tunnels 100 years ago that we don't even know about.
Well, I know during Prohibition, they were building them left and right.
Right. That's
And,
exactly
yeah,
right.
drug running and everything else. Yeah. Tunnels are great for that stuff.
Okay, I got to run a list by everybody. Things everyone should keep in their glove compartment according to a mechanic. What are you keeping? I don't even know what's in my glove compartment in my car. Do you?
Yes.
The manual to your vehicle.
The manual, car manual, and a bunch of garbage.
And a bunch of garbage is
Stuff
in there.
don't use. You
We
should
wanted to know what year your car was, so we looked at the manual.
Yeah, you should have your registration and your car manual at
Okay.
least.
Well, it says here, let's be honest, glove compartments are often used to store things like sunglasses, paperwork, and pretty much anything that's not gloves. Well, a mechanic has weighed in with suggestions of what useful items you should keep in yours. And here they are.
Tire
We'll go
gauge.
from 8 to 1. Well, maybe, yeah, maybe. Number 8, spare fuses to have a good backup in case one blows while on the road. You can reference your vehicle's manual if you don't know how to replace it. So what do you think about spare fuses?
I didn't even know cars have fuses.
never put one in my car.
They have fuses?
The last time I
Yeah.
remember seeing a fuse in my car was in older cars in the glove or the middle box thing, whatever the hell that's called.
The console?
The console?
Console, there you go. In the console, there are some fuses in there in cars from
Really?
like 15-ish years ago. I remember seeing that. I was like, oh, there's the fuses. But like modern, like cars made in the past 5 years, I doubt users can even access the fuses.
Usually, if you open your glove box, there's the fuses are in there.
Oh, yeah?
There's a little spot where you like pull.
Oh,
And yeah, you. I've had to change a fuse once or twice. So yeah,
Oh,
they're usually in there.
I
In a
never
newer
even knew.
car? They still have them?
I haven't done it, I guess, within the last 5 years, but I had it was like a 2010-ish car. Yeah, that had the fuses in there. It was a BMW. Had to like pop one out for one of the lights. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So spare fuses sounds good. A multi-tool, it's more than a Swiss Army knife. It includes pliers, a screwdriver, and a small knife. Yeah, I remember those multi-tools. I
Yeah.
haven't seen one in years.
Andy always has one.
I've given Andy one for his
Yeah,
birthday
I've
many times.
Used to carry them around literally
You
everywhere
used
I
to
went.
always have one
Well,
on.
they're handy.
They are. I used it a lot.
Number 6 is a pen and paper.
I always have a pen in my glove box.
I
Yeah.
do too. Yep.
But why paper?
I don't know about paper.
In
yeah.
case you get in an accident, you can write down
Yeah, I
somebody's
suppose.
information.
Or if you have to abandon your car for some reason to go walk to a gas station or something, you can leave a note.
point,
Don't tow my
yep.
car.
And just
Yeah, that's
draw
true.
a skull and crossbones on it.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
no one knows.
Pirate car.
Put the radiation symbol on there. No one will touch it.
Jolly Roger.
We get to the top 5. Number 5 is mini first aid kit. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep.
I always have I started carrying a first aid kit in my car when I had children because
Yes.
they're always
Yep.
like we're at the park and they're bleeding.
Mhm.
But yeah, you should definitely have that. I agree.
Nana brought this up. Number 4 is tire pressure gauge.
But
How
cars,
large does this person think that your glove compartment is?
there's a lot of glove compartments these days. You can carry maybe 2 of these things
These are
plus
all
your
pretty-
car
Yeah,
manual.
like my glove compartment can barely hold the manual.
Yeah.
These are small things, though, really.
Well, but it's like
First aid kit is big.
first aid kits are going to be huge. There's no way you could put a first aid kit in.
My mini first aid kit is like this big.
Oh.
And it's like this
You
big.
put it in the trunk, I would say.
Mine's in a Tupper or Rubbermaid container with like an umbrella and
there you go.
Sanitizing wipes and stuff like that.
There you go. Number 3, proof of insurance and registration. Well, that's always a good idea anyway.
Yes.
But you have that in your wallet, don't you?
You're supposed to have one in your car and one in your wallet. That's why they give you 2.
Well, I feel like you
okay.
shouldn't leave one in your car because of all the carjackings. You don't want people having that information, right? Criminals having all your information. I don't know.
Number 2 is weird because as your vehicle's manual, that comes with the car. So it's always been in the glove box anyway, right?
Yeah, it should.
A vehicle manual. Yeah, it's got to be in there. And the number 1, you all mentioned this one. Number 1 is a flashlight. You should always have a flashlight. Makes sense.
I have one more thing to add.
Okay.
You should have a seatbelt cutter window breaker thingy.
Oh, yeah. We got one of those.
I gave you one.
Yep. That'll be why.
Alex gave you
You're
one.
welcome.
I gave you guys one of those when you got your driver's license.
Yeah. Yours was like it had like a pointy hammer thing.
Yeah.
It was like bigger.
To break
the thing that I have, they're now compact.
Oh.
So the thing that I have, I gave you and Dad both one for Christmas in your stocking last year. They're like this big. And it's a seatbelt cutter, and then it has this pressure thing that if you press it against the window breaks.
Oh.
You don't have to like smash it.
Oh, you don't have to smash it? That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's like just this pressure thing that you push it against the window, and then it
It's like a spring-loaded bolt, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
And yeah, it comes on. It has a keychain, or you can put it on there's like a little attachment thing that you can put it on your visor.
Yep. Really good idea.
Okay, so you guys already knew all this stuff, but we didn't even have to do that segment because you guys knew all about this.
Yeah, we could have told you everything.
Wait, so you're not supposed to keep your gun in your glove
Yeah.
box?
Yeah.
That was not the list.
What are
That's
the
in
things?
Center console is where your gun goes.
What's in my glove box? I always have chapstick, a tweezers,
Hand lotion,
Santa, motion sickness glasses.
Glasses.
Yeah, they're like these super weird motion. They're like I wish I could pull up a picture of them and show all of you because maybe if I do it on my phone, they're like these circles that have
blue on the bottom,
blue fluid.
Yeah,
and there's circles here too, and they have blue fluid because they keep the horizon level with the blue, and they look ridiculous. But Fawn gets car sick like I do, and she says that they work great.
There you have it. This came up earlier. Bitcoin came up, but this is a different take on it. SEC hack adds to unease over Bitcoin ETF approval. What are they talking about here? The SEC hack.
I can't parse anything you just said.
I know. That's a headline in the Wall Street Journal. SEC hacks to unease, adds to unease.
Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yeah.
Hack.
Adds to unease over Bitcoin ETF. What is ETF?
ETF is like a stock thing, right?
Oh, it is?
I thought it was an electronic transfer fund or something
like that. Because it sounds like the SEC, their X account or Twitter account got hacked. And so people are
really.
I see. Okay. So an ETF is basically like, from what I understand, like, okay, let's say you want to put your money in gold, but you don't want to buy gold bars and store them. I'll buy these gold bars. You give me the money and they're your gold bars, but I'm holding them for you. So if you want to sell them, you just tell me to sell them and then I'll give you your money.
So I have to trust you with my gold bars?
Yep. Pretty much.
Wait a second. Bob Menendez sewed him into his suit lining.
I feel like that'd be very heavy.
I would think so.
You're dragging your suit around.
Although, I mean, a single ounce of gold is like $1,000-something, isn't it?
Oh, it's a lot of money.
An ounce on your suit isn't going to be that much, I don't think.
I asked a jeweler. I have a friend that has a friend that's a jeweler, and I was like, for my birthday, I would like to have this necklace made. I just want like a little fawn and a little sage leaf worked into a chain of a necklace. It was $700. And I was like, I'm good. I'll lose it. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, you will. Yeah, gold is insanely. People don't realize just like how much money like a tiny speck of gold can be worth.
You can have it made of tin, maybe tin.
Tin is cheap.
Aluminum foil. I will cut it out at home.
Yeah, tin is actually very difficult to find.
Well, like
Like that.
I remember at the Golden Nugget, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
They knocked it down. It doesn't exist anymore.
The Gold Nugget in Vegas is knocked
I'm
down.
pretty sure they knocked it down. Yeah.
I don't know about that. That thing's been around forever.
I don't know why I would make this up in my head.
It's a nightmare you had. That's what it was. Because they kicked you off the gambling floor. I remember
Maybe I
that.
dreamed about it. I feel like I remember it was like it's closing and they're knocking it down, or they are going to knock it down.
I don't know anything about this. I haven't heard anything about this. Anyone else? I haven't heard.
This is what
Oh, Andy's got it.
The Golden Nugget Pancake House in Chicago.
That's different.
Oh,
Alex.
that is not what. No.
the Golden Nugget
I
is
remember
still
I
up.
got all upset.
No, there's
Big mistake.
No, it's still up and running.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I heard was it going to be knocked down or something? Because why would I have thought of this?
The one in Chicago?
Well, here's
Atlantic City restaurant.
the Atlantic City Golden Nugget is closing.
Oh, there
It's
you
just
go.
the restaurant.
No, the Golden
Anyway,
Nugget Hotel and Casino. Oh yeah, it's some restaurant in the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City. So
Not in Vegas.
I feel like somebody told me that the Golden Nugget was getting knocked down. I don't
It
know.
is.
They made a mistake.
In Atlantic City.
Just the restaurant.
And just the restaurant.
I don't.
Golden Nugget makes a lot of money. They got
I
that
know. Yeah, I
Golden
thought it
Nugget they got by itself is worth a fortune.
Yeah. Anyway, I remember going to see the world's largest Golden Nugget at the Golden Nugget.
That's
Now,
correct.
that's it.
I know it's not that big.
It's like the size of a.
Pretty big for gold.
What? No, I
That's
thought it would be like softball size or something like that. It was the size of. Why can't I think of anything that
Ping
is
pong
the
ball?
size? What?
Ping pong ball.
Yeah, it was similar to a ping pong ball.
No, they're bigger nuggets than that.
Well, the one that at the Golden Nugget, I was like, that's really small and underwhelming. I thought it
Was
was
Golden Nugget where they kicked you and Andy off the floor because you weren't 18 yet?
I probably. Yeah, I wouldn't have been 18. So
No.
yeah, that makes sense.
and you have to be 21 to gamble. So
Not the penny slots.
Oh, really?
the pennies.
They have these like little like literal penny slots. You put in 1 penny at like the gas station or something we went to.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember you were like, yeah, you can put in 10 cents. So you can experience the thrill of losing your money.
Yeah, kitty glitter. That's all I ever did.
Get you
Like the nickel slots, kitty glitter. That was where you could find me.
There you go. Another question for the group here, because I just went through this. As a matter of fact, I have not looked at the story yet, just the headline, but I just cut back way back on the caffeine that I was taking in because I can't even tell you how much caffeine I took in the 37 years on the morning.
Oh,
we all know how caffeinated you've been.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
I actually played a video of Dr. Amen.
Almond?
Yeah,
Almond Joy?
about what is in soda and what it does to your body. And he's like, "Oh, you want me to quit caffeine?" I'm like, "Yeah, because you don't want diabetes and you don't want all the other
You don't know me.
memory loss
Maybe I
and
do
all
want
the
diabetes.
other stuff related to the stuff in diet sodas." So he's off of
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check how much caffeine you should actually have and when should you have it. Does anybody know the answer to this?
Early as possible.
My answer is 0 and never.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I don't drink caffeine really. If I do, like I'll drink like a matcha latte, which contains maybe 1/3 a cup of coffee, and I'll only drink it once every 2 or 3 days at most.
All right.
So
Devin,
functionally, I drink no caffeine.
Devin, you got to take on it.
They'll say, because was it caffeine's milligrams, right?
Yes.
They're going to recommend up to 300.
That's a lot of caffeine.
Is that a lot?
350, I think. Last time I saw was nearly 400 they recommend.
400. That's an insane amount. I
How
would.
much
I
is
wouldn't
in-
go past 80.
How much is in a regular cup of coffee?
I think 60-ish.
Okay, well, I would think that would be
Yeah.
probably good.
I'd say like 2 cups of coffee.
At most. In a day, that's still a
Yeah.
lot of caffeine in a
Didn't
day.
your friend almost have a heart attack because he was drinking so many Red Bulls or something? Or he was.
I don't remember a heart attack, but
Well-
I mean, I know Alex used to drink a whole lot of energy drinks.
I
Yeah.
thought one time he.
Not her.
Different Alex.
Different Alex.
Different Alex. Oh, I thought he had some sort of medical emergency because he drank so much caffeine.
Well, no, I mean, like I know kids have gotten to the hospital from drinking that kind of thing, but he didn't, I don't think.
Oh, all right.
All right. How much caffeine you should actually have and when should you have it? Figure out the right amount of caffeine to boost alertness without disrupting your sleep. So here's the story. Caffeine can give us a boost, but too much can mess with our sleep, of course, and make us feel jittery. So how do we know what the right amount might be for this? Now, how would you know that?
Generally, they would go by milligrams per kilogram. So that would be based on your body weight.
So it would be based on your body weight.
So it'd be a formula based on how much you weigh in kilograms.
And doesn't it depend on who you ask?
Ooh,
well, yeah. I mean, is this on like, Coca-Cola.com?
Yeah.
We recommend 12 Cokes worth of caffeine.
Wall Street Journal, that's where it is.
Okay.
And of course, your dad was right on the money, typical. Generally, government and health groups recommend that healthy adults consume no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine a day.
That's insane.
That comes to about 4 8-ounce cups of coffee, says Jennifer Temple, a professor of exercise nutrition sciences at University at Buffalo School of Public Health and Health Professions. Know that 20-ounce Starbucks vent does not count as 1 cup of coffee, by the way. That is not 1 cup of coffee. Believe it or not, we are doing pretty well on this target. The average American adult consumes about 200 milligrams. So you guys were right about that the average consumes about 200 milligrams of caffeine a day. In Europe, it is 270 milligrams, according to a 2017 review study. But not everyone is optimizing their caffeine intake to maximize how it can help them by sharpening concentration for work or giving them a boost before a run without hurting their sleep or overall health. Here's how to think strategically about getting the most out of your daily dose, because it's a lot better for you than doing some of these other things to jack up your system, right?
I mean, arguably, but I mean,
yeah, it's much better than cocaine.
Yeah, there you go. About 100 to 150 milligrams or up to 1.5 cups of coffee is a ballpark amount that will deliver a boost, says Astrid Naelig, an emeritus research director at the French National Institute of Health and Medical Research, who has studied caffeine's impact on brain activity. Though it varies from person to person, the effects generally kick in about 5 minutes after consumption and increase to become optimal roughly between 15 and 120 minutes, Naelig says. Caffeine has been linked to physical benefits too. People walked more on days they drank coffee than on days they didn't, according to a 2023 study of 100 people. So there's some good news with caffeine there.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I don't know. To me, that kind of sounds like our troops march twice as long when we give them Pervitin.
It could be the good argument.
I mean, I like having a cup of coffee, sometimes 2 in the morning, and I don't drink it past the morning.
No. In some people, caffeine lasts like 8 hours in the system.
Right. It for sure does to me. I can't have it after like 10 a.m. for sure.
Well, when Catherine mentioned to me about a year ago that I was drinking too much caffeine, I went, I'll check and can't be that much. I was drinking about 1,200 milligrams of caffeine a day.
Yeah, well, you were drinking how many bottles of soda a day?
About 12, not 25, it was about 12.
It was probably 12 is probably about right.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Oh, no, because then 12.
Always drinking and a bottle too. You didn't really usually have cans. You always had the bottles.
Well,
yeah,
but
the bottles,
more.
12 would equate to 100 milligrams per bottle, and there's no way that's right. So it has to be like 24 bottles. Yeah.
No. Because I would also do
that's right.
a 5-hour energy or two during the day.
I remember that.
Yeah. That's
I'm pretty sure if I ever had a 5-hour energy, I would turn into the Flash. Or I'd be able to like see into the future, or like I truly the last time I accidentally had caffeine because I ordered a coffee and they gave me caffeinated instead of decaf. I was like, I think if I could harness this correctly, I'd be able to like make things levitate or something. Like I just felt so on a different plane than everyone else.
Oh yeah. If you drink, there's some types of caffeine where your face will start to tingle because you're so energetic.
Really?
Oh
That's
yeah.
horrifying.
And Tom, hearing you say that you were cutting out caffeine, so you substituted like a 5-hour energy in it. I had a friend in high school that was trying to lose weight. He was a very big kid. And so he was drinking Slim Fasts, but then he would go eat his normal lunch and he'd like, doesn't count because the Slim Fast is going to make me skinny. So yeah, that's like the 5-hour energy was your Slim Fast.
Not how that works.
It kind of reminds me, I think it was Frasier where he's trying to lose weight. And he says, I don't understand why it's not working. I've added a salad to every meal.
Just kept eating as much, but added more food.
Calories in.
That is how a lot of people think, though. It's like
my favorite was my friend's husband. He was going to go on Slim Fast diet. Slim Fast diet. Okay, whatever you got to do there, honey. So he starts doing Slim Fast breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks a day. So he's drinking 5. And he's wondering why he's gaining weight. How could this be? How can this be? So finds out that he was just drinking Slim Fast on top of eating because he thought that for some reason drinking a Slim Fast would negate all the calories.
I think they might think that it's like a diet pill or something like that makes your metabolism work faster. Like, I don't know what the thought is there.
It's like not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
It's
not
a
weight
meal
loss.
replacement.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it has high sucrose or something.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
I don't think it's a good thing.
I told you about my speaking of drinking a lot of caffeine, I told you about my experience with chameleon coffee, right?
What's that?
Oh, I remember the story.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a brand of coffee. I was at Whole Foods. I was like, oh, sure, I'll get this. It's like it's in the fridge section. It's in a glass bottle and it's coffee. So I go home and
brew, isn't it?
Yeah, cold brew.
Yeah.
So I drink the bottle and I'm like, okay, that was pretty good. Sure. And so I started feeling a little strange about half an hour later. And I was like, what is going on? I must be really sensitive to coffee. How much caffeine was in this thing? Because cold brews can be very high caffeine. Okay. And sometimes when I drink a cold brew, it's like, yeah, that was way too much. And I'm like, so this must have been a really high caffeine cold brew. And I look and it was very high caffeine because it was coffee concentrate that I had just drank.
God.
10 cups worth.
Die.
10 cups of coffee.
I was going to say, like,
10 cups of coffee I just drank in about 10 minutes.
How long did it take you to come down off of that?
Actually, surprisingly, not that long.
Oh.
Yeah. See, my heart would have exploded. Like, I think I would have had a heart attack.
So how many grams of caffeine, milligrams caffeine did you drink?
That would have been about probably 800 to 1,000.
Oh God!
All at once.
So the last time that I had caffeine instead of non-caffeinated, I was given the wrong drink. I was driving. I had breakfast with somebody, and I was driving home, and I had to pull my car over and like wait. I was like, I cannot drive.
If you never drink caffeine, it is like really. It's not pleasant the way it makes you feel.
I had to sit in a holiday parking lot for like 45 minutes before I could like actually see and like be able to feel like I could safely drive a vehicle.
Yeah. And then you've got these guys in Italy that sit there. They stand there. These old men stand there all day long drinking
black
mud
espresso
all day long. It's like, how do they do it? I have one sip of that and I'm sick for a day.
Well, it's like people who can drink an entire fifth of vodka a day and it doesn't bother them. It's your body will adapt.
Build up the tolerance.
Pretty much no matter what you put in there, your body will adapt to it to a certain degree.
Alex is hitting the road.
Bye.
All right, see you later.
Certain people just aren't sensitive to it because I know my Aunt Ann, she drank coffee all day long.
Yeah.
All day. She drank pots and pots of coffee all day long.
Yep.
Andy, I looked up the chameleon coffee, and depending on which one you drink,
there's different ones.
This was a 32-ounce bottle of this.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Makes 60 up to 64 ounces of coffee.
Tasty.
Yeah.
Man,
64 ounces of coffee. So that's
a lot.
That's what, a quart?
1 quart, yeah.
Yeah, a quart of coffee.
Yeah.
Well, that's 32 ounces. You said it was 64, didn't you?
A quart's 64, isn't it?
No, sorry, it would be 2 quarts of coffee.
Yeah.
1 quart.
So half a gallon?
Half a gallon
of coffee is what you drink.
A lot of...
Why were you chugging coffee like that?
I wasn't. I thought I drank a bottle of coffee, cold brew.
Whoops.
Wow.
What are you going to do? All right, Tevin, I need to run this by you because I haven't been paying that close attention to it. Twins broadcast future remains unclear. Amazon, Bally Sports, MLB, what will it be? Have you been paying any attention to that, where the Twins are going to end up? Because we're only about a month away from spring training opening.
Yeah, there hasn't really been a whole lot that I've seen about it, which seems odd because you're saying, the spring training is right around the corner, and before we know it, it'll be baseball season, and you would think that this isn't something they can just throw together at the last minute. So it's not good.
So do you think they might not be on TV at all?
I would think so. I mean, I would say if worst case scenario, maybe a local like Fox affiliate or something like that would step in and try to broadcast the games. But
I would think so, yeah.
I mean, I would be curious if the Twins then tried to just do their own in-house production and say, we'll just, set up our own cameras and see what the cost of, hiring somebody to do that for them rather than relying on Bally Sports. But yeah, it's not looking good for the Twins.
Yeah, back in the day, remember they came out and put that big tower on our house out in Dayton? The ML, it was the Midwest Broadcasting, I think it was.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, they put a huge tower on top of our house so I could get it out in Dayton, get all that stuff. So will they be going back to that? Do you think that each individual is going to have to figure out a way to pick up the game?
They'll just figure out how to stream it, I would guess. I mean, it can't be that hard.
But if it's not being recorded, I mean, somebody has to pay for all this stuff, right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just going to get to the point where everybody just streams on their own and like sells it to a broker who puts it on their like Roku channel or something, something like that. I don't know.
No question. I don't know. That makes me kind of nervous because I love watching the Twins, and they still, I mean, they're, like I said, about a month out from the very beginning of spring training. They're only about, God, what does that put them? Our first game is at the end of March still, or they go into April now? First game for Major League Baseball.
I believe it's in April.
I think it is, but somebody's telling me they're trying to move it in the last week of March, but I don't think it's happened yet. But that's what he was talking about.
March 28th, it looks like is the
they did do it.
Yeah, opening day for this week.
They did do it. So March 28th. So they got basically 6 weeks to decide, or 6 weeks of the opening spring training to decide who's going to. Well, spring training games, I used to love to watch those too.
Yeah.
Is any of that going to be available? I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I don't, because I think this ESPN usually, because they consider that the Grapefruit League, right? Spring training.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that I think that will probably be like ESPN or maybe MLB Network. Definitely not like a national thing, but yeah, it looks like. And then actually March 20th is actually going to be the first series between the Dodgers and San Diego.
March 20th.
Yeah, but then the 28th, though, it looks like is the official. Everybody kind of kicks off.
Oh, okay, I see. I hope they find somebody, whether it's Amazon, Bally Sports, Major League Baseball, whatever the hell it is, MLB. I got to watch my Twins. I mean, that's all there is to it. You got to watch the Twins, don't you?
Until they anger you.
I mean, like every year? Well, except for 2 years. 87 and 91, they didn't anger me.
Until you get PO'd.
Well, that'll happen. That's just the way it is. And I
love when you're watching a game and you're like so excited about a game against somebody, and half an hour later you come upstairs. Let's go for a drive or something. I can't watch this shit anymore. And then you kind of fume about it for about 25, 30 minutes. And then you go back downstairs for another dose.
Well, you're making that up as you go along. I've never overreacted like that.
No,
never. No, I am possibly the biggest Twins fan in the world. There's no question. I've always been a huge Twins fan. And I did pick them before the season started. Ken Herbeck knows this. Tim Laudner knows it. Gary Gaetti was on Stretch's show with me. I predicted the Twins would win the World Series before the 1987 season started. Everybody thought I was completely insane. I'm telling you, this team is a lot better than you think they are. I got very lucky because they did win the World Series in 87, then again in 91. So, but now looking at that, okay, let's get something going because it's been 33 years. Yeah. What do you say?
It's been a long dry spell.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to make another prediction to kind of just speak it into existence, I think.
I do indeed. I'd have to see, but the Twins let most of their good people go. They don't have a lot of.
Why would they do such a thing?
I don't know. They let about, what was it, Tevin, about 4 of their biggest stars left the team.
Yeah, because they're using the lack of a TV deal as an excuse for them not having enough money.
Right.
I think the only thing I've seen about them bringing players in is some, small international draft where they're supposed to be, some project type players that potentially could be good but it's not anything worth getting excited about.
Yeah. I really need my Twins because, well, particularly in the state of Minnesota, when you go through such harsh winters, then all of a sudden the spring training comes along and go, well, they're down in Florida now. They'll be up here in a month and a half. It was a nice indication about a month from right now. By the way, happy birthday to my brother, Troy. Troy's birthday was today. No longer with us, unbelievably, but true. But yeah, we're 6 weeks away from it starting about right now. They're going to have to figure this out because they've been sitting around. Sonny Gray's gone, which I'm not real happy with. I thought Sonny Gray was one hell of a pitcher.
Yeah, he did, and because he did great in the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Like he was one of those stars that kind of helped them advance. And then, but he was older, correct? A little bit older.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's right.
I thought that was kind of the big knock on him. They were like, we're not sure how much time we'll get out of him, but yeah, you usually like to see your favorite teams replace the talent they lose, and the Twins seem to not do that.
They're not doing it this year. That's very, very true. There's no question about it.
Seems like a baseball empire 101.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Get good players.
Except for
step one.
Where'd that Ohtani go? Where'd he end up again?
He's with the Dodgers, I believe, out in LA.
Yeah, LA Dodgers makes sense. $750 million they signed him for.
I can't believe there's that much money in baseball still.
I think he signed for $750 million.
Apparently there isn't.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, with the Dodgers, yeah, on a $700+ million contract. And I think he deferred some of the payments, so he's going to end up getting paid like for the rest of his life and his kids.
Mm-hmm. That's a smart thing to do.
Oh, he's very smart because he's going to take $2 million per year, and the rest of it goes in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
$2 million out of, and was it a 10-year deal? I think it's $75 million a year, right?
Yep, yeah, 10-year deal, and then he structured it some way where like the interest rate that he gets on the money is super high, and so he's going to end up making well over whatever
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Are the corporate taxes causing a problem with these sports teams?
I don't know.
'Cause they're raising those way up.
They're jacking those sky high. That's absolutely true.
Who is like the Babe Ruth right now? Is there one?
You got it. Well, Ohtani will be the Babe Ruth. He will. There's no question.
But is he actually that good?
He's phenomenal. I mean, he's an outfielder. He's a pitcher. He can do it all.
Yep. Yeah. He's arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball and arguably one of the best hitters. And so he essentially got two contracts put into one for his $700 million.
It's pretty amazing.
And baseball's a big thing in Japan.
Oh God, yes, it's huge. No question about it. Still love baseball. It's still my favorite sport of all. Look, I like the Vikings. I love, I like all our teams. Don't get me wrong. But baseball is the signal that summers are coming. That's always been a big part of it for me. Oh, baseball's here. That must mean it's going to warm up in a little while. Now I have to ask you, as a resident of downtown Minneapolis, Tevin.
Yep.
This is kind of sad news that Target is trying to sell off all the furnishings because they're Ninth and Nicollet, I think they are.
Yeah,
around there.
Yeah.
Target Corporation. They're moving out of that building completely. Wasn't it like 50,000 employees or something?
So the store is closing. Are all the offices?
No, I think it's just the office. I thought
the office building. Yeah.
The office. Target Corporate's up. It's not in that area. Target Corporate is in like Bloomington, I think. Melissa used to work there.
Oh,
well, they have a couple of campuses. There's one like in Brooklyn Park, I think, or Brooklyn Center. And,
yeah, they definitely have.
And I know during COVID they let a huge building. They got out of that because my
that's
niece,
the one I'm talking about on 9th and Nicollet.
Well, that's been gone for a while.
But they're selling all the furniture now out of it.
Oh well, they actually I think they had a lease for 5 years or something, and they just said we're abandoning this because we don't have anybody here and it's not safe for our employees to go to work. So they just left it. So they probably got out of the lease somehow, I would guess, and are now getting rid of it.
Target is trying to offload furnishings as it exits city center offices.
That makes sense.
The city. So where is the city center? Downtown Minneapolis. So that's must be what you're thinking.
Yeah, 9th and Nicollet.
So basically, they're just like it's been vacant for a long time, and now they're just getting rid of the furniture.
Yeah. Well, it's been vacant ever since COVID started, I think. They
Correct.
started moving out of there during COVID.
It vacated in 2021.
Yeah, so there you go.
So it's been vacant for almost 3 years now.
That is now, Tevin, what are we going to do about downtown? Is a lot of this happening? I mean, that's 50,000 people not going to lunch at restaurants, 50,000 people not going for a couple of drinks after work. I mean, what the hell are they going to do with all that lost revenue?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to, I feel like, almost give it to specific people at a discount a little bit just to entice them to open a business downtown.
Yeah.
While they're saying, you know, whether it's a franchise chain or whatever, and try to get, you'd have to get a coordinated effort of, okay, we have, you know, we targeted 10 specific businesses that are all going to open up close together so we can have kind of a relaunch of downtown, because it's a ghost town and it's too expensive to put.
It's not just the lack of businesses, because a friend of mine, she had to get out of her lease after spending, I don't even know, $1 million something.
Oh, that's right.
Getting her space, because she said she could not leave an employee there alone. It was too dangerous.
Yep.
And she had been downtown forever, loves downtown, is a super duper Minneapolis big time fan, would never live anywhere else. And she said, I had to get out of my lease and move out of downtown Minneapolis because there was always a problem. I couldn't have people walking to their car. That would work. You can't have young women just walking to their car in downtown Minneapolis. How sad is that?
Right. Yeah. And there needs to be also, you know, a bigger police. I know it's not popular to say, but a bigger police presence down there.
Yep.
Well, that's not going to happen.
People don't feel safe. They're not going to go down there.
I know, but that's not going to happen. They already voted down.
Right.
Didn't they vote down funding anything?
What do these nut job politicians think we're going to do for money if nobody goes downtown?
I think that the super duper lefty progressive people that are running Minneapolis and St. Paul, they think that if their policies just keep going for 10, 15, maybe 20 years, that everybody will calm down and stop committing so much crime.
That's ridiculous.
That is, I think, their belief, which I think is
It
stupid.
absolutely is. They think crime is caused by Republican policy.
But this is, I mean, we're going to go through a 15-year cycle before anybody says it's not working. I mean, I just don't think that anybody can admit to failure right now. It's just not going to happen. They're going to double down. And they're going to keep going because they think that this is the right way to do things. And that's just what everybody votes for. So that's what's going to happen.
But here's the problem. We've let 10 million people walk across our border with no reason to be here. And it's all to get them to vote for me so I can make millions of dollars. These people, most of them are probably going to end up starving to death.
Did you hear the latest?
Oh, what happened?
In New York, I think it's New York City, or at least New York State, somewhere.
Suing,
No, the kids are told that they're going to have to do online learning as of Monday because they have to put these migrants someplace. So they're putting them in the schools.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Yeah, I saw that in New York City.
Yeah, so it's New York City.
Yep.
It's your property taxes and all the taxes that you pay so that your kids can have an education. They're going to be online. And we've seen in COVID how successful online learning is.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Freaking disaster. These policies are disasters. And who's going to pay that price? Kids.
Yeah, exactly. Because you get your politicians and big business that are destroying this country.
But like I said, you've got this weird fringe people that are running everything, and they're not going to stop it. They're just not. They believe in it, and they're in power, and that's it. So good luck.
Makes me sad, man. Like I said, I used to walk downtown as a little kid. It was wonderful.
I used to walk downtown 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I lived downtown until 2017.
Well, I have to say, down here in wonderful West Palm Beach, it's such a pleasure to be able to walk around and not feel like you're going to get stabbed.
Oh, if somebody gets out of line.
Can't even tell you.
Yeah, it's a whole
I can
different
walk my
story.
dog all by myself any time of day, and it's just a different world.
Are the people ever going to understand that the only reason politicians are doing this is so they get more votes and make more money? They don't give a rat's ass about those 10 million people come. They don't care about you at all. They only care if you vote for them. That's all they care about.
Well, they've got a base that supports any move that they make, and that's
I
just
guess.
how America is right now. So
I guess it's true. I really wish we wouldn't do that because, honest to God, Tevin, I used to I spent more time downtown. Well, first of all, I worked downtown a lot. When I did voiceover, I was downtown every day. And there were never any problems. Nobody was ever a pain in the ass. There were great places to eat. Everything was open.
Back when our studio was in the Acme building, that was
Yeah.
so nice to
It
be able
sure
to
was.
take a walk down by the river or
It
go
was
out
great.
and have something to eat. It was
Yep.
always very pleasant.
Is that
It's a
Acme
beautiful
location
city.
still? That's safe down there still, isn't it? Or has that gotten bad too?
I would say North Loop is pretty safe. I would say anywhere downtown at night is not going to be necessarily as safe as you would like, just because there's a lot of drunk people trying to get home. But overall, North Loop, I would say, is considered maybe a little bit more safe than other areas of downtown. Yeah.
It's so funny about that because you think the South Loop would be that spot that'd be that way because everybody's always been terrified of North Minneapolis, and the North Loop is in North Minneapolis. I mean, it is, right?
It is. It's just a jaunt away.
It's a jaunt away.
Yeah, and when people say North Minneapolis, they think of kind of you going over the, what is that, 394, like the bridge
over the Hive.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
into that area.
Well, our friends, they rented an apartment right there on Washington in the North Loop, and they were there, I think, 2 or 3 years. And in the time they moved in, it was great. They were walking to everything and having a great time. And then by the end of their lease, which I don't even know, 2 or 3 years, they said there was a definite change in everything at night, and it just didn't feel the same.
You know, I don't understand why politicians now believe you should let people do whatever they want. No, you shouldn't. I'm sorry. That's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard.
I believe that you should let people do what they want as long as it doesn't hurt other people
Yeah, but that's never how it works.
and take away their stuff. But
It's
that's just me.
That's just not how people think. I don't know. I just really stopped listening to these nut jobs. Politicians, because like I said, they're just using you to make money. They don't give a rat's ass about you.
Yeah, and it really is about making money, because if they wanted to change something like bringing downtown back or making certain things safer, it's going to cost a lot of money to make a radical change and make sure everything's thought through. But they try to change 1 or 2 little things that really don't make a difference because they don't want to cut that check, because you could structure leases for businesses or for apartment buildings where you're giving 6 months free or a discounted rates, just try to get bodies back and then build it back up. But yeah, right now they want to price rent so high that nobody can afford to live there, and then now you don't have people to go to these businesses, and so now the businesses are moving out. So it's just one thing leading to another that causes the downfall.
In my opinion, it is all called bad leadership. But
it is bad leadership.
I don't run the place.
Very
no one
selfish.
listens to me.
Well, here's the article. It's funny because I just scrolled down on the Star Tribune. Want some red furniture? Target's trying to offload furnishings as it exits city center offices.
Yeah, you can buy a whole cubicle for like $120.
Ooh,
Really?
cubicle.
Yeah. So you can buy like a desk, a cabinet, all sorts. If you want cheap, very, very corporate laminate furniture, this is a great place to do it.
And it's good furniture, isn't it? It's not cheap stuff at all.
No, I mean, it's not like something you'd want in your house because it's got that very corporate feel to it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is very clearly like, Target break room table kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Good for children.
yeah, if you're trying to furnish a school, for example,
Yeah.
they could furnish an
That would
entire
work.
school for probably a couple $1,000s.
That's a great idea. Why don't they do that?
Why doesn't Target just donate it to a school and take the write off?
They could have, they could have made a lot more news and helped a lot more people if they would have did that.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Really, rich people in Minnesota giving?
Actually, Minnesota has a good reputation for charitable giving.
By the middling people, but not the rich people.
I don't know about that. I don't know how it's divided up, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are a lot of them that do donate a lot, but that's on an individual basis and all the rest of it. I don't know. It makes me sad though, because like I said, I spent my 25 first years. And then after that, and that's when I started doing voiceover. So from the time I was a little boy till I was, till about 15 years ago, I was downtown every day from morning till night. And I never had any problems personally with it. But then again, I didn't park in, ramps where people would be hiding behind pillars to rob people, which has happened in the past. Do you think they'll ever be able to get a handle on it again, Tevin? I mean, are they going to be able to just invite people to come downtown and they'll be safe?
I don't know. I think so, because right now I feel like kind of the shift is starting. People like even going out is getting out of downtown, and so that's like why uptown got so dangerous, because it started to become less cool to go downtown and everybody flooded uptown, and so then that became kind of a dangerous area. So I think as everybody leaves, eventually either a new generation or a new group of people will go, maybe it isn't so bad downtown, and then you get a different demographic change. But
I hope,
I don't think anytime soon. Because even like the police officers that are down there to keep everybody safe, a lot of time they're just sitting in their cars, kind of watching, waiting for a fight to break out, and then they're
not allowed to engage, right?
Well, no, I'm saying I feel like if police officers are more regularly just kind of walking around and talking to, maybe just going into businesses saying, hi, hey, how's it going? Do you need anything? And just kind of being more visible, where people now aren't so, uptight every time they see a police officer. It's just a normal thing, or, get to know your community, not just police your community.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I think that's a good thing. I don't know. I would like to look, I'm never going to give up on the steakhouses downtown. There are a couple of great ones. They're wonderful restaurants. But would you say that if you're going to go downtown, you got to use valet parking?
Yeah, use valet parking, or, if you go downtown, you get downtown at like 7:30, go get dinner, go see a show, and you leave by 11 o'clock midnight, you're probably not going to have any trouble. But if you're out there at, 2 o'clock in the morning.
But has that ever been safe at 2 o'clock in the morning?
I would never. No. At no point in time would I walk around a city at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And if you're hanging out at like a light rail station versus standing outside of, a bar or restaurant, like a, Manny's or something where it's, a safer. Yeah. Don't hang out at the light rail station where there's more transient types hanging out.
Okay. As long as we're talking about law enforcement and people making rules, here's a perfect one for you. There's a picture of a cute little baby in the Star Tribune. That baby's cute as hell. Mm-hmm. Probation, no prison for Central Minnesota man who inflicted severe brain injuries to his baby. He got probation for destroying a baby's life.
Probation?
Probation. See it right there. Probation, no prison.
What judge was this?
I don't know, but you beat a child in the head so severely it has brain injuries, and you don't even have to go to jail?
That's fucked up.
What's holding people back from doing? They're going to do whatever the hell they want. They read that story, right?
Yeah, there has to be consequences at some point.
This poor little baby. I'm looking at the cute pic. Look at that baby.
How do you, as a judge, go, oh, it doesn't really matter?
We have to be a lot more lenient on people. Yeah, that's why the crime level has shot through the ceiling.
And that's in Minnesota.
That's in central Minnesota. Yep. Oh my God. Unbelievable.
No, he shook the baby.
Baby, and the brain slammed up against the skull, right?
Yeah,
yes, that is what happens.
Syndrome.
Yeah, so that's really, really nice that you heard. And the kid was less than a year old, wasn't it?
3 months.
3 months old.
I understand how a screaming baby and a baby that won't sleep, it's colicky. I understand how frustrating that can be.
Sure.
But you just put the baby in the crib and you let them scream and you go take a breath. You don't just let things escalate in your own body to the point where you're so angry that you go and do something stupid like this.
Yeah, I became a master of letting a baby scream in the other room.
Yeah.
I was like, fine, I'll just go on my phone for a while. Calm down.
Well, you kind of have to. I mean, because not one person cannot listen to a baby screaming. I mean, I had a friend whose kid literally screamed 24 hours a day. I think she slept in 20-second intervals.
Yeah, when Ethan was 6 months old, sometimes he would just scream constantly for like a solid hour and a half, just for no real reason.
Yeah, and they're dry, they're fed, they're everything. You've walked them, you've done everything, and they're still going to scream. Sometimes, and it gets so frustrating because you're trying so hard to keep that kid from crying. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just nothing you can do but put them down and take a minute if you're getting angry. And grown-ups who are having babies should know this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't even know. Maybe you could call the cops and say, I'm losing it. This kid's screaming. Could somebody stand here and make sure this kid doesn't, die of something while I take a walk around the block? I don't even know what you could do. There's got to be some help for that.
Is this a new thing that babies have no value whatsoever?
Well, it certainly is seeming like it's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
Nobody cares about child trafficking.
No.
It's happening constantly and no one cares.
That's so weird. They don't care about babies. Like anybody under 1 year old, it's like they don't even care about them anymore.
I know. It's really.
It's just like, what are you doing? What the hell's wrong with you?
I just don't
all right,
think
I'm
that
depressed
we like
enough.
each other
We
anymore.
got to take a break. We got to hit the road. A lot of depressing news today, don't you think?
Well, don't read the news.
Well, you seem to seek it out. So
that's my job to read the news. I don't know if you ever noticed that or not.
Shaken baby syndrome has gone down quite a bit since the 90s, actually.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, this made the news because, the guy got probation.
Right.
I think there was a case where it happened and then it happened again and people, they started talking about the fact that you can't shake a baby.
No, you can't.
Which seems like common sense, but I don't think people understood. It's sort of like, you can't drink while you're pregnant. People did that forever.
Yeah, they sure did.
I mean, people evolve, hopefully, but this kid didn't get a chance.
I remember one time there was an argument in Brooklyn Park about the electricity, the wires overhead on those big metal poles. We talked to a woman who lives in the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, one of the stations, those large metal frames that they ran the wires through.
Oh, yeah.
Right underneath one of those. We're going to talk to her. She's coming right now. This woman comes out. She's got a drink in her left hand, a cigarette in her right hand, and she's pregnant. And she's bitching about the wires above. I hope it doesn't hurt my baby. It's like, okay.
Wow.
That's like those people that will go like, one glass of wine won't hurt your baby. It's like, why would you even take the chance? Like, I guess not a risk worth taking.
No.
All right, that's going to do it for a day. This is a very serious show. We don't usually do a very serious show.
Talking about people killing babies is going to happen.
I suppose that is true.
Definitely a buzzkill.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.